Hey piggy, hey piggy, don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Wage cut ain't no way to be alive. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Wage cut ain't no way to be alive. Ooh. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one. Ooh.
When I'm with my boo, 1 and 1 miss 2, then it mix free. Yeah, we had the baby. She want Versace, she want Gucci. Gotta lay down all my bands on the Lambo, cause she don't like my Volvo, no, no. Yeah, she got a diamond grill on her baby teeth. Coolest kid in nursery, but you know, I'm not a materialist, an idealist. I flow with the transcendental argument. Reading Wittgenstein, investigate my girl philosophically. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? I just want the money.
Hey piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy,
yeah,
just give me one.
yeah,
Ooh.
straight up, I'm simple for you, girl. I want my heart, want you in my world. I see you in the super chat, I see you wanna go from me. I see you on the OnlyFans and you got my heart in your hand. Please don't crush it, girl, understand that I'm a simp, but I'm proud. I'm a geek, but I'm proud. And I wanna feel your breath at a convention. I want my picture of you groping my ass to be on social media. I want my friends to see it on Discord. I'm gonna upload it to my subreddit and they all gonna see it. My friends, they gonna like it, they gonna retweet it. But I think that it's gonna be the greatest moment of my life, and I want you to be a part of it, girl, yeah.
Don't make me go back to that 9 to 5. Wage cut ain't no way to be alive. Don't make me go back to 9 to 5. Wage cut ain't no way to be alive. Ooh. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one. Ooh. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chat. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one more super chance. Hey piggy, just give me one. Ooh.
I can't hear ya, let me hear you say it.
I'm simpy simp. I'm simpy simp.
Met you at that party, girl. You had a
Limpy limp.
I thought it was because you was all gassed up, but you had a
Snub leg.
snub leg, girl. But I still fell in love with you. Still fell in love. And you know what happened after that? I'm a simpy simp. That's right. You stole my
Party heart.
with your
Arty art. 'Cause
because you're an art hope. I met you at that art class, and then we went to that party where you
Lefty left.
with that other dude. It was not me.
I'm not that dude.
It's all very mystical, but I'm
Skeptical.
because I keep having to pay the bills. I pay them
Billy Bills.
for that new guy named Billy that's your boyfriend. I pay for your boyfriend's Billy Bills. We watched that one cartoon, girl. Remember that? We used to watch some cartoons together. I think that cartoon had a name. It did have a name. Our relationship was like a cartoon, girl. What cartoon was that?
Ren and Simpy.
We watched that cartoon, girl. Ren and
Simpy Simp.
When he left you and you came back to me, that was called a
Humpy Dump. A dumpy pump.
that's what happened to you. And now you're back to me to pay the,
Billy Bills.
because you know what, girl?
I'm Simpy Simp. Simpy Simp.
Quasimodo. Quasimodo. Got lots of bitches calling me on my mobile. Quasimodo. I got a natural flesh patch right there for my mobile. I live a life Quasimodo. My bitches be calling me Master Modo. You don't even understand this flow though. When I get older, will I still have an after shoulder? Quasimodo. High school kids making fun of me and call me Play-Doh. On this back part right here, just this part is Play-Doh. Quasimodo. I'm up in my castle. It's very dank.
I found her, humpback chick, she was stank on it. Quasimodo, looking for a Quasimodo. Quasimodo, you don't even know what it's like with a little bitty friend on your back like this right here. I got a little brother on my shoulder. Quasimodo, I just bought a weird modified Lambo so that I can drive in a weird way inside a modified Lambo. You don't even understand my flow though. But this was very helpful for my therapy. Quasimodo. Quasimodo.
I'm in love with a heartbeat. Don't you try to stop it. Throw your little hissy fit. 'cause I'm in love with her. Oh, I'm on elf ears, feeling all your fears, crying little man tears, crying 'cause crying 'cause I'm a little bitch, a bitch with a sassy fit, a sassy little backpack full of lemon spread, full of little lemon spread. Put on a little bit of lemon spread on lemon spread. Itty bitty, oh, feeling on elf ears, feeling all of your fears. Willow versus evil witch, nasty little son of a bitch. Willow versus evil witch, sassy little bitch, sassy little vamp, sassy little Frodo. Back in Elijah Wood, back in where you know I should. Back a little limbus bed, limbus bread. Back a little limbus bed, goes good with mustard. Ooh, 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 ooh. Love with a hobbit, don't you try to stop it. Throw a little hiss of it, 'cause I'm in, ooh.
So my son was headed off to camp, and before he went, he shared a really cool thing. I said, "Hey, what are you hoping to get from this?" And he said, "Papa, I just want to meet new people and do cool things."
There's a lot of cool people in the world. There's a lot of cool things in the world. Did you ever notice that? A lot of cool people. There's a cool guy named Bob and Bill. There's also a pretty cool guy named Phil, but not everybody's cool. Some people isn't, but that's okay.
I just wanna meet new people, Papa. Meet new people, Papa. And I wanna do so many cool things.
Just want to meet new people and do a lot of cool things. Yeah.
Just wanna meet new people and do so many cool things. I just wanna meet new people, and I wanna do so many cool things. I wanna meet people.
You know, the world has a lot of cool things in it. Like this thing right here is pretty cool. This thing's kind of cool too. Did you ever think about how many cool things there are? There's over 1 million cool things in the world. Think about Michael Jordan, he's pretty cool. You ever think about maybe something from the 90s that you like a pair of jeans, or something like a Beanie Baby that's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool things in the world. You ever think about it?
I just wanna meet new people and do so many cool things. I wanna do a lot of cool things.
Like I said, there's so many cool things in the world, you gotta think about it.
Last one, y'all. Then we're going to get into it. Y'all remember this vibe? Twerkers of the world unite. I want to live forever. Damn. I see you on that Instagram, girl. In them yogurt pants.
Sexy little communist, working out the praxis. Ooh, sexy little socialist, like the bugs we eat for access. You just got a little extra meat. Call it for access. You own my heart and the means of production. Let me show you my means of reproduction.
Fetal cell sprite. Tonight's the night. Ballin'. Like Joseph Stalin.
Ooh, sexy little communist, sexy little communist, doing little praxis. Ooh, I seen you on my Instagram. You made it my Instagram.
It's actually not about AOC. It's just a joke. It's not about anybody.
You gon' make me Marxist. Big girls need their loving too.
All right. No, it's not about AOC. If you notice the lyrics, it's talking about how all the Marxist chicks are fugly. They're not attractive at all. I just threw AOC in there just to be ridiculous because she was in that advertisement commercial where she was dancing. It is not about AOC. There are no hot Marxists. So that was the point, was that it's ridiculous to, like, what are the way that the online libs market themselves is funny because they're completely disgusting and unattractive. And you would think if they wanted to convince you of their ideology, they would not be disgusting and unattractive. But anyway, that's the point. I got to explain everything to you. I'm supposed to have a high IQ audience. What's going on? I mean, we still get people coming over here. Every time I play Cringecore, which we've been playing, this is like 2018 when the boomers would come into the chat and complain about what a live stream is. When's this damn video starting? What's all this electric keyboard music? What the hell's going on? Blah! Anyway, I know AOC's an actress. That's because she was in a damn commercial that I put in the video. That's why. It's all supposed to be goofy. Y'all haven't figured that out. And by the way, the songs are bad on purpose. Duh. And by the way, they're also kind of good on purpose. Oh, think about that. I just blew your mind. Also, we're about to give away money free. Earn money sleeping. Earn crypto free by just answering questions. All you have to do is, I ask a question, you answer it. I'm the axer, you the answerer. That's simple. You get monies. Why the hell isn't everybody over here? I'm confused. What else is it? You don't want to make free money on a Saturday? And again, we have to explain this because when I did this the other day, thank you. I know they're pretty good songs. That's why they're called Cringecore, baby. And when I do a live event, y'all know what happens? I perform those songs live, baby. People were like, "Nuh-uh." And then I put up that video of the Vegas event where I performed live. That's what I'm talking about. Today, I'm your crypto mogul daddy man. And no, it's not Daddy Coin. It's Dyer Coin today. The only Soviet-backed crypto on the market. We still based on that Soviet government. By the way, Soviet coin, that's a multi-million-dollar meme coin idea right there. So whoever makes Soviet coin, give me a bag of it because I just gave you the idea. I guarantee you that would go 15, 20, $100 million market cap right there. We're about to have some fun today. We're going to have some serious stuff and some fun stuff. As you know, we always mix it up. We're always up in the mix. Instead of Jamie's quiz questions, I forgot that I have this game, now that we're at our other place. Conspiracy Theory, the Travel Edition. And this is a fun little card game. We've never actually played the game. We just do the trivia questions. These are a little more challenging. So, today, if you want to get some free monies, and remember, somebody was bitching and whining in the chat earlier. You're getting free money and you're bitching and whining. Why is he giving out shit coins? You can sell the coin if you want to. Nobody's making you keep Tin Hat Cat. If you want to go trade it and switch it over into Phantom and then sell the Phantom on an exchange for Bitcoin, go ahead, dude. Nobody's stopping you, dog. This is the Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West. We're straight up Will Smith over here. Wild Wild West. Remember that stupid ass Will Smith song? One of his worst. Get jiggy with it. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. I heard another stupid ass Will Smith song when we were in a shopping situation. We was shopping at the mall. And Wall Smith came on the radio. And it was like, man, I forgot that Will Smith song. And no, it wasn't Jazzy Jeff Days. I'm talking about rare Will Smith. I'm talking about 2002 rare Will Smith hits. And I'm not talking about going to Miami. Right, that way that Will Smith laugh, you know. I'm not talking about going to Miami. And I'm not talking about Wild Wild West. I'm not talking about getting jiggy with it. I'm not talking about summertime. I'm not talking about Man in Black. What was that stupid Will Smith song? Why am I even looking for a stupid ass Will Smith? See, this is what we do on this channel. We go down rabbit holes, and it's okay. It's okay. We're okay with it. Anyways, by the way, this is one of my favorite SNL skits. I don't know if you guys ever watched this.
Bring on sight.
And what was weird about this skit is that it was so bizarre. And if you remember back in the day, Saturday Night Live would put the really bizarre stuff towards the end of the show, or they would get cut. And then they might put them up later. It used to be they would put up the cut skits or some of the rare skits on Yahoo back in the day. I'm talking about like 10, 15 years ago. Anyway, this is actually... So when they had their 40-year anniversary? Something like that. They actually brought back this crazy, bizarre skit, which I think is really super funny. And... pretty much all the Will Forte era. I think the Will Forte era was really funny. If you didn't watch that era. Yes, of course, you know, they went... This is pre-woke SNL, so it's kind of like they were still funny. Right before Kyle Mooney, who's about the only funny thing left on Saturday Night Live these days. But this is a really funny skit if you're looking for something goofy. And then they brought it back a couple years ago when they had their anniversary. And I thought both were pretty funny. Jamie and I were watching some old SNL skits for fun the other night, and these held up. I still ended up laughing pretty hard at both of those skits. Now, we gotta have a little bit of fun today. Wild Wild West, and we're gonna have a little bit of seriousness. Woke coin. Yeah, Will Forte was funny on Tim and Eric for sure. Shabbos Goy coin. We're gonna let it all fly and make a zillion shekels and chains. Now this one is interesting for the conspiracy crowd. This is our first quiz giveaway. Yeah, by the way, I'm gonna talk about these boomer van living crap. That's driving me crazy. These stupid ass boomer videos now. Used to be, remember a couple years ago when that millennial chick just popped up out of nowhere and she had 2 videos about van living and suddenly her channel had 1 million subscribers. Obviously it's fake, right? Get that Moon Beaver coin. And they started promoting Tiny Living. So we're going to be bitching about Tiny Living here in a minute and talking about how that's a scam. I've been dropping my daily dadcore words of wisdom over here on Twitter, and it's doing pretty good. Like, this got 1,000 likes on my paragraph of dadcore wisdom. So I might start dropping. Oh yeah, Bill Hader was great. Yeah, I mean, that whole era of, that was like the last of the really funny era of Saturday Night Live, was Will Forte and Bill Hader and all that crew. And then it kind of dropped off. Kyle and Becker, they're really funny. And so GM is mad because I'm giving out free cryptos. GM, did you see my message to you? You don't have to keep the meme coin. You can, as a free agent, flip the meme coin to Phantom and then sell the Phantom on an exchange for Bitcoin. So technically, you could be getting free Bitcoin today if that's what you want. You can do what you want, bro. This is the Wild Wild West, as Wall Smoth had said. MacGruber was funny. Yeah, I mean, the era of the 90s was definitely funny. Yep, Dana Carvey and Mike Myers. But I beg to differ, Scotty. The Andy Samberg era was funny. There was a lot of funny Lonely Island skits. And the era of Kyle and Becker are still... Kyle Mooney's really funny. If y'all didn't see his movie, Brigsby Bear, that was good. It was a really good movie. And then I think Kyle Mooney's new movie about Y2K actually looks really funny too. But look, I got no love for the establishment. So if you ever hear me like touting, you know, somebody on SNL or something, like, they're still funny. Yeah, of course the Norm Macdonald era was funny. I mean, that was the 90s. That was a lot of fun. But I tend to like the wackier skits. You guys know I'm wacky, so maybe we should just do a whole stream on SNL. That'd be funny. No, dude, Kyle Mooney's really funny. Even Kyle and Becker's old YouTube stuff is funny. Inside SoCal, that was classic. I mean, I remember watching Inside SoCal and I was like, this is basically how Tristan actually is. And Tristan is from SoCal. So it's like, they accurately, I mean, maybe not so much now that Tristan is somewhat grown up and matured. Hey, Jamie, could you make me an espresso? Not an espresso, an espresso. Jamie? Thank you. You're sweet. Anyway, we gotta change it up. You know what I mean? I can't just talk about the same stuff all the time. And I can't debate idiots every day of the year for a year like y'all want me to. I mean, when I debate the idiots, we get 30,000 views. And when I talk about fun stuff and I give away free monies and free Bitcoins and free cryptos and free 10 cat, we get half the views. This is y'all's problem right here. You're not making use of your time coming over here winning the damn quiz championship and getting paid. Brothers and sisters in my audience is getting PAID, baby. Now, how do you get paid? You got to have either the Phantom wallet. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm already going to screw up 2,000 boomers. You got to have MetaMask wallet, and you got to click the network that says Phantom, FTM, FANTOM. Because 10 Hat Cat is built on Phantom. But I did notice the other day in my Coinbase wallet that it does accept Phantom, which means that you can get 10 Hat Cat in your Coinbase wallet. But I'm going to have to show y'all this because it's going to confuse a million people once again. You got to click the Phantom in the Coinbase wallet because everybody has Coinbase wallet for the most part. You got to click the right Phantom. Okay, don't click the wrong Phantom. So let's take a look here. Here's my Coinbase wallet. There's nothing in it right now. See that? Okay, we got Coinbase wallet. And you see right here, you can get your THC right there. You can get it in there, but you get it on Phantom. So how do we do that? Come over here to search. See the search? And you're going to search Phantom. Phantom. You click on that. But look, make sure it's the Phantom that has 2 Phantom logos. See that one? It's the Phantom logo and then a little bitty Phantom logo. That means it's Phantom that's on Phantom. In other words, it's just Phantom. Sometimes Phantom has its coin on other chains. So let's see. If I search Phantom, I'm going to get Phantom on. I'm going to get different ones. See, there's one that says Phantom on Solana, Phantom on Phantom, Phantom on Ethereum. The only one you want is the Phantom on Phantom. That's it. So get some little Phantom on Phantom action for y'all. So what do you do then? Well, you click that, and then you send the receive address, and you'll get Tin Hat Cat coming on your Phantom network. It'll look like that. See, it says Phantom. This asset is on the Phantom Opera network. So you send me what? The address that says to receive. Same principle in the MetaMask wallet. That's that easy. But God help us, it's not that easy, because nobody's going to be able to figure it out. Unless you were here last time and you figured it out. But hey, this is a good learning curve for y'all. I'm helping y'all out. We're going to get y'all situated. We're going to get your bank situated, your money situated. All right. Now, first question. And the way you get it is you answer in the chat. You can buy a fraction of Bitcoin of this. So if you want to sell your Tin Hat Cat, you can do that. All you got to do is in your wallet or you have to send it to somewhere where you can flip it like Kraken. You have to flip your Tin Hat Cat to Phantom, and then you have to send it to an exchange like Kraken to sell it for dollars or for Bitcoin. Probably Kraken would be the easiest, because you can't. I don't even know if you can buy or sell Phantom in the Coinbase exchange. I don't know, but I know you can on crypto. I mean on Kraken. Excuse me. What's the rectangle of the picture that you were holding? The rectangle of the picture. The rectangle of the picture. What kind of weird ass geometry nerd language are we speaking here? What is the rectangle of the picture? What is the hypotenuse of the philosophy? What is the gender of the hypotenuse? I don't even understand what this means. Can you get it in pounds? I think everybody in Europe uses Binance, so you'd have to send it to Binance if you want to cash out. All right. First question. Now remember, put the receive address of your Phantom into the chat, and that's after you get it right. So the first person to get it right gets how much Tin Hat Cat? We're gonna say it went down a little bit this week, so I think we're at like 40 cents. So each Tin Hat Cat is worth about 40 cents, right? Yeah, 40 cents. Now this is interesting from the conspiracy regime or conspiracy domain. First quiz question for this one's a little bit difficult, so we're gonna say this one's a 20 Tin Hat Cat level question. And the question is, I don't know if Binance is banned in the UK. I have no idea. What famous author wrote a book which claimed that Queen Elizabeth was actually a man in disguise? Queen Elizabeth was a dude. Yes. Famous author wrote a book arguing that Queen Elizabeth was a dude. An MTF. This was... And I will wait for the first person whose answer pops up. The answer is not David Icke. This is like more classic. It's not David Icke. And the answer is Bram Stoker. Correct. Citizen Davey got it. Now, I think Citizen Davey got some of these correct last time. So, Citizen Davey, put your wallet address in there. I think I have yours, though. I may still have it in my list from last time. Let me look and see. Do I have your address from last time? I don't know if I do. I don't see it. Just send it again and make it easier. Just remember what you did last time. Good job, Citizen Davey. Citizen Davey racked it up last time. Got 2 or 3 right last time, too. Quantum espressos, please. Okay. That one is a little too easy. I'm not going to do that one for you guys. Quiz question from Conspiracy Theory the Game. Too easy for you guys. Can't do that one. Too easy for this crowd for sure. Oh, here's a weird one. Now, this one I didn't know. Here's a tough one. Did Citizen Davey put his address in there again? I always have to toggle back and forth between. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that, Citizen Davey. I got that address there. I had to toggle again. So let's see. What is the name of the CIA-developed software tool that enables them to remotely collect and store video images? I did not know this. So this is an advanced one. This is for 30 THC. So that's about 15 bucks, 14 bucks. What is the name of the CIA-developed software tool? It is not Prism. That's what I would have guessed. That allows them to collect and store video images across the board. It is not Facebook, although you might think. Correct. Flint got it. It is Couch Potato. Good job, Flint. You guys are on point today. Pretty sure Flint's the first to get it right. He said Couch Potato. Yes, it is. Project, or the tool is called Couch Potato. Flint, if you want to put your Phantom Receive address, not Phantom Wallet, that's for Solana. Phantom, the crypto chain, there, your receive address, and I will send you 30 Tin Hat Cat coin. Good job to Flint. Flint got that. Now, yeah, a lot of these you can probably search, but I'm trying to find ones that you might not be able to easily search. That's why I didn't collect some of the other ones. Quantum Potato. We do have the highest IQ audience. They know how to use search engines. Can't do that one. Let's see. No, that's too easy. In the 2000s, Stephen Hawking threw a party for what domain of conspiracy-related people? This one is for 20 THC. 20 THC. Did Flint put his address in? Does he not want his cryptos? If you answer and you don't have it, you're just basically taking money from everyone and no one's getting any money. So if you don't have the wallet, there's no point answering. It is not Jeff Stein McEffrey. You would have thought it would be. Oh, Time Travelers. Luigi in the audience gets it. Luigi, you want to put your Phantom wallet address and you get 20 THC. Phantom, not Phantom with a PH. That's a Solana wallet. It's not a crypto. Phantom the crypto. It was Time Travelers. Luigi got it. Good job. I want to remind you guys too that I will be live. If you want to come see me in Florida, y'all ready for this? There's Jamie looking beautiful on the couch there, reading an excellent book. We are classed as celebrity amongst a bunch of celebrities that I'm not familiar with, except for Alan Howarth, who is the music behind all the John Carpenter classics, right? And I assume he also does music with John Carpenter because John Carpenter is in a band. Run into the mystic night and take us away, big trouble in little China. Look at that, fancy people like Cat Wincoop from movies like The Bite and Joel Wincoop from also the same movies, and Denise Duff. I'm joking. I don't know who these people are, but I'm making fun of myself because I'm in here amongst. Oh, here's a woman from Suspiria, Barbara Magnify. Magnify that shit, Barbara. She was in Suspiria. Ooh, interesting. Now, we've done breakdowns of Suspiria. Now, I will be giving a talk, as you guys know, at this event. A lot of these people, I don't know who they are, but we are going to be there. Our team, our crew will be there. And where's the... Let me get the link for the tickets. I'll be giving a 1-hour talk at a dinner at the Tampa Bay Screams event. Let me find right here. I'll be speaking there January 19th. Tickets are only $30. First 30 tickets get a free signed copy of Esoteric Hollywood. My lecture will be The Dark Occult Secrets of Horror Films. We'll be going pretty deep. It's going to tie in very closely to Esoteric Hollywood 3, which will be coming out hopefully around that time or in the next few months. I've gotten a good bit done. I'm into the 300s now. I've just got to get to around 400 pages. And if you want to get your tickets, you can click right here, and right underneath it is the tickets available right here, this square link. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. If you want access to my talk, my lecture, and book signing, absolutely, of course, right there. Luigi, where is your address? There's tickets for our January 19th HorrorCon. Flint, let me see if I get, let me get your address up here, Flint. In like Flint. Where did he go? Where is it at? Scrolling up. I see Citizen Davies' address. Sometimes it doesn't show me. I have to flip back and forth between the messages to see the addresses. I don't know why it makes me do that. You don't have one? Why are you guys answering the quiz questions if you don't have the address? Okay, Flint, yes, I see yours. All you got to do is download MetaMask, pick Phantom. The description, the instructions are in the show description, guys. Yeoman got it. Okay, Yeoman, what's your Phantom address? Since he doesn't want it, he doesn't want free money. Yes, thank you. That's cool of Luigi to do that. Does Yeoman have an address? Yeoman, put it into the chat, please. And we'll give that to Yeoman. I got Flint's address. So I'll send you these afterwards. Next up. Yes, you can still support the stream via Super Chats. Thank you for that through Streamlabs. Do your Super Chats through Streamlab. All right, we're not doing that one. That's too easy. A lot of these conspiracy questions are too easy. Was it Yeoman or Kinar that got it? Kinar said he was second to get it. Okay, we'll give it to Kinar because Yeoman doesn't have a Phantom address. Yeoman. Excuse me, not Yeoman. It was Kinar, excuse me. Here's a tough one. This is for our movie nerds. And because this one's pretty tough, we're gonna say this is a 30 Tin Hat Cat question. Who was Dan Aykroyd talking to when he had his Men in Black experience? He's talking to somebody famous on the phone. Who is Dan Aykroyd talking to on the phone when he has his Men in Black experience? That is the next question for 30 Tin Hat Cat. That comes out to about 15 bucks. 14 bucks. Who was Dan Aykroyd talking to on the phone? Famous person when he had his Men in Black experience. It is not Hillary Clinton. It is not Don Trump. It is not John Candy. Remember, it's the movie Men in Black. Who would be popular around that time? It is not Bill Murray. It is not Sammy Hagar from Van Halen. Good job, Coffee Head Duck. It is Britney Spears. Good job. Coffee Head, do you want to put your Phantom receive address into the chat? And I'll give you 15 THC. Coffee Head. It is not Wall Smoth. All right. Next question. That one is too easy. For 10 Tin Hat Cat. This one's kind of easy, but I want to do it because it fits the theme. Name the failed CIA project that attempted to turn ordinary cats into high-tech spies using brain chip implants. Yep. And this is for 10 THCs. 10 THCs. I need Coffee Head's address for the last one. Yes, Acoustic Kitty. That is correct. Wyndham Earl. Wyndham Earl, got it. You want to put me your Phantom receive address, Wyndham Earl, and you will get 10 THC. Good job. All right. Here is an interesting one for the conspiracy domain. And it's one that we love to make fun of quite often. And this is the rapper clone conspiracies. In terms of rapper clone conspiracies, who reportedly died in a car crash in 2007 and was one of the first rapper clone replacements in the conspiracy domain? This one's funny. What rapper? Yes, good job. Kokoshku Papa Shengo got it first. Apparently, I didn't even know this. Jamie, could you bring me the coffee? Did you? Oh, okay. Kokoshku got it. It was, in fact, Eminem. Eminem was the first of this idiotic conspiracy theory of cloned replaced rappers. Kokoshku. You want to put your address into the chat. And I don't know why I always have to do this. I have to toggle back and forth between top chat and live chat to see these people's addresses. I don't know why it does this. It doesn't just show me the entire chat. So I still need Coffee Head, Wyndham Earl, and Kokoshku's Phantom receive address. Jonathan says he answered the Men in Black question. Now we got people just like trying to steal. I'm just joking. Okay, Jonathan, let's see. I will send that one out if you actually got it. Just pay it forward. What does that mean, dude? Eminem is a monk? Eminem is a mook. I don't even. What's a mook? Is it like a wook? Everybody knows that one. That's too easy. Just send me the receive address for Phantom. Nobody knows how to do this. If you don't know how to do it, you don't get the monies. It's that simple, guys. Come on. It's free money. We got people racking it up over here. And I still need Kokoshku, Wyndham Earl, and Coffeehead's address. All right, next up. This is a fascinating one. Somebody in this audience will know this. And I forget where I heard. I think even Tristan might have told me about this. So we'll make this one for 10 THC. 10 THC. Donate to the last winner. I don't know who the last winner was. Kokoshku. Okay, so that goes to you, Wyndham Earl. So that's 25 Tin Hat Cat if you want it, Wyndham Earl, if you put your address into the chat. Who do theorists claim is responsible for the 1961 death of Michael Rockefeller, the son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller? And that is for 10 THC. 10 THC. Who do theorists think killed Michael Rockefeller in 1961, the son of elite family scion Nelson Rockefeller? Jonathan Porkenstein got it. It is the cannibals, correct. Jonathan Porkenstein. Is anybody else giving me their address? I'm getting addresses of people that didn't get the answers. So it's like, you got to get the answer right before you get the monies. If you don't give me your address, you don't get any money. Pepsi and Nestle were among the companies accused of using this as an enhancer. This is for 10 THC. No, you didn't miss it. We're still doing it. If you don't have an address, you can't get the monies. Pepsi and Nestle were among the companies accused, allegedly, of using this as a flavor enhancer. Brad Scott got it. It is infant, CELLS, correct. So, but Brad got it first. Brad Scott, you want to put your phantom receive address in? Yeah, you guys are way behind. Okay, Jonathan Porkenstein gave me his address. Good job, Jonathan. Does anybody else want their free monies? I guess not. Your chance to donate back to me. You want me to keep your 10 Hat Cat coins? All right. Moving on. No, that's too stupid and boomer. That one's a funny one, but you guys are probably going to know it. That's too easy. In 1982, crazy televangelist Paul Crouch played a song backwards and claimed that it had a secret satanic message. What song was it? This is funny. This is for 10 THC. It's a little too easy, but for 10 Hat Cat. In the 1982 broadcast, what song did televangelist Paul Crouch play backwards to reveal a secret satanic message? Do an easy one. This is pretty easy. And if you want to support me, you can do so via Super Chats. Super Chats are done through Streamlabs. And that is the link at the pinned in the chat. And it's also the link right there. It's also in the show description. I'm amazed at how many people in comments, I don't mean in the chat, but I mean in the comments underneath the videos, constantly ask me, where can I watch the second half of your videos? Where can I super chat? Where can I get your books? No one looks at show descriptions anymore. Are people this lazy? Literally everything is in the show description that you're looking for. It is Stairway to Heaven. Jonathan Porgenstein is on a roll. I think he got this one. No, Freedom Fighter. Freedom Fighter got it first. So, Freedom Fighter, put your Phantom receive address. This is fun. This is like nobody has the wallet, and they're all you guys are all answering. You're not going to get your money if you don't have a wallet. So, what do you answer the questions for? Freedom Fighter. By the way, I got I meant to wear my t-shirts. I'm one of the top Streamlabs streamers, and they sent me t-shirts. J Pork. No, Freedom Fighter. Freedom Fighter, do you have a wallet address? Yeah, I guess I understand it's still fun, but like if you don't have a wallet and you answer it correctly, then it's just like nobody's going to get the money. So there we go. Freedom Fighter, thank you so much. He's got an address. Good job. We got some people who have above boomer IQ. You can figure out how to put a receive address. Good job, dude. Proud of you, boy. Freedom Fighter. That's right. All right, let's move it on. Next one for 10 THC. What is the code name for a tech program that allows the observer to see into the past and to project into potential futures? This is a fairly challenging one for 20 THC. A lot of you tech nerds will probably know this one. 20 THC. What is the name of the program, code name, that allows an observer to see into the past and thus potential projected futures? Flint got it again. Good job. It is Looking Glass. Is that Flint? And I got Flint's address. Good job, Flint. Was Flint the first? No, it is not. This is a tech program, not remote viewing, guys. It is Looking Glass, correct. All right, moving on. Next question. All right, this one's for 10 THC. In the 1950s, the U.S. government paid $240,000 to purchase a gigantic supply of what? Meta-quantum gay uncle theory, correct. There we go. For 10 THC, excuse me. The 1950s, the U.S. government paid $240K to purchase the world's biggest supply of, and the Candyman nails it. It is LSD. Candyman on point. Candyman, you want to give me your Phantom wallet receive address? Excuse me, Phantom crypto. Not, I'm saying it wrong. Not Phantom wallet. Phantom crypto receive address, and I will send you your THCs. Can I get above boomer IQ even if I have Spurgatism 5000? No. Sorry. You are still disqualified. Next. Let me find a good one. All right, that one's too easy. Everybody in this audience will know that one. That one was Harvey Weinstein, Black Cube. Way too easy. Let's see. Next one. Oh, here's a good one. Now, this is for you psychonauts and former psychonauts. I didn't know this, actually. Now, we've covered in the Global Elite Book Series, by the way, at least two Terrence McKenna. And I'm going to read the question in Terrence McKenna voice to make it more authentic. I'm sure somebody's going to get this. So we're only going to make this for 10 THC. After shrooming out and gaining alien knowledge,
Terence McKenna developed what software program to predict the future?
For 10 THC. You ready to hear it again?
After shrooming out and gaining alien knowledge, Terence McKenna developed what software program to predict the future?
And the answer the 10 THCs go to 5 grams? No, that is not the answer. I have to switch back and forth between top messages and all messages because for whatever reason, it doesn't like sometimes the wallet addresses are shown to me. Chair's got it. It is Time Wave 0. Time Wave 0. So I need your Phantom wallet address. Excuse me, your Phantom Crypto. Phantom Crypto receive address. Not your Phantom wallet. That won't work. Good job for the Time Wave 0 nerds out there. Now, I hate all this alien shit, but here's an alien conspiracy question for you guys. This one's kind of difficult, so we may make this one the last one. We'll make this one the last one for 50 THCs today. In 1947, UFO sightings by Harold Dahl were first reported in regard to what secret group? Mods, tell Jay what? I don't know. What are you trying to tell me? Somebody was before you? Who got it first? If it wasn't, cheers. Pork. Pork and Stock got that one too? Okay, thank you. Pork is racking it up. He's basically going to win all the money today. You guys are out to lunch, and nobody has a damn wallet except for 3 of you. 1947 UFO sightings by Harold Dahl were first reported to what secret group? Kokoshku got it, but Kokoshku doesn't. He keeps giving it away, so we're going to give it to the next person after Kokoshku, who is Flint. It is the Men in Black, correct, Flint. So today's winner for the 50 THC was Flint, and everybody's just using ChatGPT. Okay. All right, that's enough giving away monies today. I'm sorry y'all didn't pay attention. And so Freedom Fighter, Brad Scott, and Wyndham Earl, I need your, and Candyman. Freedom Fighter, Brad Scott, Candyman, Wyndham Earl, I need your addresses, or else you don't get any money. And I'll just keep it. Pay it forward. To who? You didn't get it, so I gave it to Flint. All right. Thank you guys for that. Was that fun? You guys enjoy that? Do you guys like the quiz or not? It's like there's only like 400 people that come over for the quiz stuff. How much did we give away today? We gave away about 25, 35. Maybe about $200 again today. So last time we gave away $225. Today I gave away $220 or $200. So I don't know what's going on with you guys. You guys need to get your act together. Get your poop together. Okay, so here, let's see. Freedoms, do I have freedoms? I understand that they are posting it, but I have to toggle back and forth, as I've explained to you guys, or else I don't see the addresses. I don't know why it's that way. Sometimes it shows up on all chat, and sometimes it only shows up on top chat. I don't know why. So there's Wyndham Earls. I see his. And then I need... Do I have Porkensteins? Yes, I do. I need Brad Scott next. Brad Scott, where's your at? Where you at? I think, yeah, I got Freedoms. You got to choose Phantom as the network. All right. Moving on. Now, I want to talk about this because we got young dudes that just still don't get it. And so this is my last couple days of weekly wisdom drops that we're doing now. Young guys, especially intelligent ones, are very idealistic and unrealistic. They often think that they can change the world by demonstrating that they have the best ideas. In reality, the world does not operate on those principles. Ideas can have lasting change, but they often take decades or longer to come to fruition. The world is not run on ideas, ultimately, but on the principles of power, money, and influence. This is a key principle that you learn as you move out of your 20s, when you're super idealistic, and into your 30s. You will then realize, in order to affect change in this world, unless you are choosing a monastic path, power, wealth, and influence are necessary things, and they are not inherently evil. So remember, as we look through the philosophy and the psychology of the left, remember that last week or a couple weeks ago when we were doing those talks? We noticed that the left, at least in terms of French Revolution, this period, they demonized power itself. Power is evil. It's society and the structures that are the sources of evil. Money itself is evil. Wealth is evil, and power is evil. These are all classic leftist ideas out of the French Revolution and Enlightenment. So, and these ideas are false. These are the ideas that will ruin you as you choose to live on these idealistic things and not according to what is reality. Does that make sense? Yes. Same idea as like guns and weapons and self-defense are evil. As if anything in itself is evil. Well, this is the Gnostic-ish tendency, the Manichaean tendency of the left. And they have always had these flirtations with, or these underlying shared principles with Gnosticism. Absolutely. Gnosticism obviously saying that the physical world is evil, the structure of the world are evil. Evil is a metaphysical problem of the world and not a problem of man's heart. And so the message that we're trying to get across to young guys, because when I go out and when I see my audience, when I meet a lot of this audience, a large portion of the audience is young dudes. And nothing wrong with that. But what do young dudes need to hear that I wish I had heard when I was in my 20s? It is precisely this. I thought about what's the one thing that I would have told myself in my 20s that I wished I'd known that I learned in my 30s. This is it. So shedding idealism, not your ideals. You have to have ideals and principles. But shedding your idealism for realism is a sign of maturation. And when you're on the internet and Twitter especially, when you see all this flame war and all the drama and all this stuff, that sucks so many people into all of their time and energy being wasted on all this Twitter drama. It's a total waste of time. And so, for example, this last week, a lot of people asked me questions about, did you hear about the drama about so-and-so? What about this drama about this other person? And no, I did not. Yes, you're getting the boomer dadcore talk right now. Absolutely. Because, son, it's time we had this talk. Sit down, son. It's time we had a talk. And I'm going to scowl at you and look down upon you over my glasses like a boomer dadcore dad would do. Think about the time and the energy that is sapped away by all of the internet flame war drama stuff. Now, is it in principle necessarily wrong that you see this or that you reply? No, none of that. I'm simply saying the same principle behind your time and energy that goes into this nonsense and stupid stuff and the crap that nobody will remember a week or two from now. Does anyone remember Calendargate and Cakegate and Batter Boobs Girl or what? Nobody remembers that. It's completely forgotten. But 6 months ago, whenever it was, that's all everybody was talking about this. No one remembers it. Completely worthless, useless, stupid stuff. And yet, millions, thousands, I don't know how many, we're talking about this nonsense over and over and over for days, maybe about a week or two on Twitter. I'm not singling anybody out if they replied. That's not the point. The point is, think about the last week. How much time did you put into scrolling Twitter or Instagram or whatever? Or getting involved and wrapped up in the drama? Probably a lot. Now, people come over here, and when I put some community posts up talking about the basics and the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and I still see idiots with their idiot comments endlessly telling me that Bitcoin's going to zero, it's not backed by anything, all the tard stuff that's been replied to 1 million times over. Let me find that. Let's just go through the list. And that's why I said this. By 2030, when Bitcoin hits $1 million a coin, and I think, well, I'm going to say by 2030, maybe earlier, maybe by 2030. Okay. And yes, $1 million will be devalued as to probably be about $500,000. I don't know. But we're still going to have internet idiots saying, what about a power outage? It's all going to get deleted when the electricity goes. No, it doesn't get deleted when the electricity. There's satellites, by the way, that broadcast the network. They're not connected to all this other stuff. And by the way, the whole world's power is not going to go out. If all the world's power goes out, Bitcoin won't even matter. Gold probably won't even matter. And if you want to have gold, go for it. Have fun. have your conquistador fantasy. Go for it. What about Tether? Oh, Tether is going to zero. It's all fake. What? You know, I've been hearing the Tether stuff since 2016. Maybe 2017. The Tether conspiracy theory. What actually backs Bitcoin? There's nothing to back it up. They want you to use Bitcoin because it's actually about the global digital cashless society. Now, don't you think I know about the global cashless society since I've been reading about it and lecturing about it for however many years we've been doing the Global Elite book series? Now, I heard about digital currencies in the late 90s. And yes, for many, many years, I thought, yes, that equals the cashless, trackable society control grid. That is not what Bitcoin is. Okay, so let's get this clear. And let's get out one of the big pieces of FUD first. This is the MIT, what's it called? Digital dollar from the late 90s. And it's, let's see if I can find it. So every time this comes up, and even a person who we're friends with, his circles, sent this, we had this argument. Oh, what is the name? I just had it pulled up the other day. So basically, people are saying, oh, if you go back to the 1990s, Michael Saylor and other people were involved in this thing, maybe this is it, to create a digital dollar. Now, this is true. You go back to the 1990s, it wasn't blockchain, I think it was just people at MIT were researching and thinking, how could we come up with a digital dollar? Guess what? Bitcoin is not a digital dollar. Okay, so this is two different things. Maybe this is it. Let's see if this is it. No, this is 2020s. Does anybody remember the name of this project? I just had it pulled up the other day, and I was going to do a talk on it. And I've already forgotten now. I don't even know if Michael Saylor was actually involved in it, but people are saying, oh, it has Michael Saylor in it. And they're all scheming and plotting this entire time. MIT? No, that's not it. Does anyone remember what I'm talking about? Anyway, so to make a long story short, there was this project, I think I saved it on my phone, in the late 90s to come up with a digital dollar. A digital dollar that they were projecting was literally just an electronic version of the dollar bill. That's it. Okay, so for those that don't know, Bitcoin is not a digital version of the dollar bill. The fact that Bitcoin is denominated and sold in dollars does not make it a digital dollar. It's also sold in yen. Does that make it a digital yen? No. Okay, so that's a totally different thing from what BTC evolved to be. Now, it could be that the people who developed Bitcoin and the white paper and whoever Satoshi is, it could be that they were influenced by this, some of the ideas of this late 90s MIT project. But you don't have to delve very far into whatever that was before you realize that that's not what Bitcoin is. That is a fiat-based e-cash. Bitcoin is not a fiat-based e-cash. Okay? Jamie, could you make me another espresso? Please? Thank you. No, I do not think Catherine Austin Fitts is correct here. So, Catherine Austin Fitts, apparently, as I can, and that's not who I'm talking about, does not appear to see the difference between a CBDC and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a CBDC. It is the opposite of a CBDC. That's why the Genesis block of Bitcoin has encoded within it discussions of the 2008 financial crisis. It was literally created as an opposition to the banker bailouts. Now, you can be super conspiratorial, as I was in 2015, which caused me to miss out on the dude that was going to give me free Bitcoin when it was $200. An idiot that I was, because of my over-conspiratorial know-it-allness, as you in the audience are being. Yes, I know Catherine Austin Fitts. We've done multiple interviews. She does not know what's up on this point. She's very smart. She's seen into the infrastructure of all kinds of stuff. We did interviews, multiple interviews 10 years ago. I do not think she's correct on this point. I still respect her. I just think that there is a block in the minds of many boomers. I am an expert in boomerdom. I'm an expert in seeing the flaws in boomerdom. I actually take credit for being the first person to come up with the boomer meme and boomer jokes. I wrote an essay in 2014 making fun of boomers, and it went viral. It was in the InfoWars forums, and it went viral all over the internet. And so I take credit. I can't prove it, but I did kind of kick off all the boomer jokes. That's my thing. And it's just jokes. But they cannot understand. And listen, I've had so many conversations with boomers explaining these principles and the value proposition of something that is ideal and not physical. Now, it is true, there are some trade-offs with everything becoming in the realm of the ether, okay? But it doesn't really matter if the criticisms that we have of that, because we're already at that point. You guys understand? We're already at the point where the world is becoming digitized and value is transferring to things that are objective and based on the net. And there's pros and cons to that. Let me give you a con. Over time, I do not like my music being on iTunes. I'm really sick of iTunes. I think it's terrible. It's annoying. Over the years, songs disappear. Like, I have an album, and then there's like 4 songs of the album that I had the entire album of. I'm serious. Yeah, I'm not joking. Like, I literally am the beginning of... Now, I might have just pioneered boomer jokes in 2013, 14. I can show you the old articles I wrote. I mean, I don't think the InfoWars forums exist anymore, so I can't prove that it went viral from there. But one of the first articles that I wrote on my blog back in 2013, 14 was boomer joke stuff. And you can go back to the like the old days of... It might have even been earlier than that. It might have even been 2011 when I first started the new blog, Jay's Analysis. But yes, I think that the essay still exists. I don't know. I can dig for it. It is on the Wayback Machine. I know for sure I can find it on Wayback Machine, and I could actually find you the specific date and prove that to you. But so digitization can be good or bad. Okay. I think that I was reading an article yesterday about CDs, compact discs. People are getting tired of digital crap, and they're actually wanting to have albums and CDs. We were at the mall the other day looking for some Christmas stuff, and I noticed that in the music store, they still have music stores in the mall, the CD section was about this big. It used to be massive. And the biggest section that they had, aside from all this like stank ass Funko Pops and crap and toys, was albums. So records are hugely popular still. Records are $50. What? Dude, a CD is like $3 now. But I read this article saying that people are actually beginning to move back towards CDs because people are tired of digitization when it comes to some of these things like the arts and collectibles and all that. So there's aspects to digitization that are problematic and can be criticized. Everybody living their lives out on social media is a digitization that's very easy to criticize, that I think is a waste of a lot of people's time. However, I no longer think that it makes any sense to not believe in the digitization of money. And when you hear that, the first thing you think, especially our audience, is, oh, that's the mark of the beast, control grid, the cashless society, the central bank digital currency, which will be Bitcoin. Guys, the BIS does not like Bitcoin. Do we even know what that is? Do you guys remember? Have we not gone through the course, the Quigley course that I lectured you through? Does the Bank for International Settlements, which is the central bank of central banks, does it like Bitcoin? No. I had a better article. Let me see. No, the BIS says that Bitcoin will not work for the world. The BIS report proves, they just had a report this year, central bankers fear Bitcoin. They don't like it. They don't want you using it. This is a year ago. We're going to ban it. BIS. Ban Bitcoin. Now, how well did that projection go from 1 year ago? Did they ban Bitcoin? No. So, if the Bank for International Settlements hates Bitcoin and they do not want you having it, and they come up with all the stupid objections that the idiots are going to be saying in 2030, they're going to be repeating the same stuff. Guys, how many times do boomers have to be wrong before you listen to what I'm saying? Dave Ramsey, Kramer, Peter Zeihan, Bitcoin's going to zero. It's going to zero. And they're all wrong. Why? Because there is a block in the mind of the boomer to understand digitization. Even if you disagree with it, your disagreement has nothing to do with whether it's happening or not. And so in this age of information, whether you like it or not, value is now put into the digital realm. It doesn't matter whether it makes sense to you or not. It's that way. So what that means is we now value the songs, the pictures that we take with our friends and family on the internet. It is now digitized. It is now value placed there. You can still have your physical copies. I actually think that it probably would be better if we had a focus on the physicality of it than what we have now. But we're at the point where services have been digitized. Amazon, right? Walmart, all that stuff's digitized. Entertainment is now digitized. You stream your movies for the most part. I hope that these questions are joke questions. Please tell me that. What does Bitcoin's value rest on? Please tell me these are joke questions. Guys, here's what I'm trying to say. Young guys, why are you not putting your time into learning instead of coming here to repeat the stupid boomer info that you heard MSNBC telling you and the mainstream media telling you across the internet when you haven't done any research or you haven't looked into this or studied it. You've spent how much time looking at the drama on Twitter versus you could have gone and researched these topics. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? It's you that are your own worst enemy. That's the first step to bettering yourself, is realizing that your problems are not all out there. They're you. You're your own worst enemy. That's the first step to bettering yourself. How do I know that? Because I had to learn this lesson. Because I, in my 20s, was idealistic, and the world was the source of all the problems. It's this group. It's all these people over there. It's all the people out there. They're making the world. It's not my fault. It's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah. Welcome to adulthood. It's not fair. Now, acclimate to reality and stop living in the ideals. How much time did you spend playing video games when you could have learned this stuff? I don't have any time. I don't have any money. I don't have another. Stop whining. How much money did you spend on booze? How much money did you spend vaping? What do you mean you don't have any money? How much money did you waste? I guarantee you wasted money. So, instead of wasting your time, and as you get older, time will be one of your most valuable assets. You will think back on your 20s. Oh, I wasted so much time in my 20s. It's just stupid stuff. Wasted. I'm not talking about every fun time with your friend. Those are the things that you're going to remember. Right? So you're out with your friends and you had fun. Great. That's a good memory. The 1,000 hours that you put into a video game, that's a waste of your time. It's not. The addiction and the dopamine is literally, you are your own worst enemy in those scenarios. You see. Instead of that, put your time and effort into learning the stuff that I'm talking about. And you can't be risk averse. I'm not telling you to go crazy with risking, but you have to take risks or else you're never going to do anything. Had I not taken risks, so when I first looked into Bitcoin, and we've done very well with it, I was nervous because it was 2017. It went from 1,800 to 2,000-ish, somewhere in there. And I thought, this is kind of scary. I don't know if I've got a few $1,000s. Do I want to put it into this? I don't know. This is very risky. Well, if you don't risk, you're not going to have any reward. Now, this does not mean that you choose risks without any information. Obviously, you have to try to study and learn things. So I'm not telling you to go like to the roulette table and go nuts. Okay, that's not the kind of risks I'm talking. I'm talking about sensible risks. This is what investing is. Somebody tried to get all virtue signally on my community tab again and said, I am better than you because I don't gamble with investing. Yeah, that's not gambling, dummy. If that's what gambling is, then all business ventures are gambling. And by the way, you holding your dollars is a form of gamble. Because you're gambling and betting on the dollar keeping its value, which it won't, because all fiat currencies go to zero. So you're actually just virtue signaling your idiocy. And have fun staying poor. Oh, but I'm pious, and so I'm actually better than you because Jesus says to be poor. Jesus doesn't tell you to be poor if you're going to be a father and have a household and have children. You're not going to do well if you're poor. If you choose the life of monasticism, which is not the choice of 95% of us, then you're going to have to be doing what I'm telling you to do, whether you like it or not. So stop pretending that you're a monk when you live in this world. The world is not run by your ideals. The world doesn't care about your ideals if you're a 20-year-old gamer. Now, you would think that if we've been in this game since 2017, and we've been talking about this since 2017, and I've made all the dumb mistakes that everybody who goes into this domain makes. I had a terrible, huge bad trade in 2017, 18, somewhere in there. I lost a lot of money one time. Now, I could have given up. Could have stopped because I was an idiot, didn't know what I was doing. But, you know, that was actually a very good mistake to make, because I didn't make that mistake ever again. So don't expect when you start to do this, if you make these choices to go into this domain. I'm not a registered financial advisor, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm trying to tell you the mistakes that when I was in my 20s, I should have learned about investing. Why didn't I think this way in my 20s? When I was in my 20s, I had a middle-class dad. I mean, I still have a middle-class dad, but my dad didn't ever talk about investing. And I remember listening to podcasts, and I remember some rich dudes talking about their dad. It might have even been Kiyosaki or something. I don't remember. But I remember it was back in like the 2000s, and somebody was like, you know, middle-class dads don't ever talk about investing because they don't think that their kids will invest, and they don't know anything about investing. They just work the 50, 60-hour grind. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If you want to live that life, if you want to be Joe Sixpack, you want to work at the factory 40, 50, 60 hours a week, go have your beer and go home, that's your choice. You can do that. And I'm not even saying it's bad, but a lot of people don't want to live that life. They don't want to work that kind of a lifestyle. They'd like to have a better lifestyle for their kids, for their offspring, for their family. They want to be able to help people with their money. Right? Well, you're not going to be able to do that if you choose the non-investing Joe Sixpack route. It's just a fact. So I remember thinking, well, my dad didn't really like to read books, which is fine. You don't have to be a book nerd. He liked to build things. He's a engineering kind of build with his hands kind of guy. And he built a lot of cool stuff over the years. He sold a lot of those things. He used to build houses. He built motorcycles and cars from scratch. He was a super technical minded, you know, engineering kind of dude. But he was a military middle class guy who never really found any interest in learning and investing. And again, it's not a moral question of you're bad or you're good. It's the choices that you want, that you make, and that you live with, basically. If that's the life that you want, that's the life that you want. But if you choose that life, there will be pros and cons either way, right? Everything in life is pros and cons, actuaries, risk, reward, measurements, and so forth. So for people who are not choosing monastic life, you're going to need to understand this world. And I'm trying to tell, there's a temptation and a tendency, especially in young dudes, especially if you're intellectual. You want to act like you're a monastic as you live in this world. And you think, I don't have to mess with any of this stuff. And let me show you on the internet how pious I am. And let me tell you how much I pray. And I don't care about money. And you're obsessed with money. And okay, I'm actually trying to help people out from the mistakes that I made in my 20s. And what are you doing on the internet? You're virtue signaling about how investing is gambling. Well, guess what? Everything is a gamble in life then at that point. It's a gamble for you to choose orthodoxy over Roman Catholicism based on the evidences that's a gamble by that definition. It's so stupid. Stop being so stupid and naive. And no one cares about your virtue signaling on the internet, especially if you're a anonymous profile. Nobody even knows who you are. That's another baffling thing. Like, I could get virtue signaling and being a Pharisee and trying to show how righteous you are if people know who you are, because at least you're getting some kind of reward. But like anonymous profiles, that virtue, like, what do you even get from that? I don't care about money. I pray all day, and let me tell you how much I pray. Okay, good luck getting a wife and a family with that. You're not. You're not going to get anything from that. You have your reward, as Matthew says. So, that's today's rant on this point, which ties into this point, which is, why are you repeating? This is what I've noticed about a lot of this stuff in this domain. And I've off and on talked and posted about, you know, crypto and Bitcoin, all this kind of stuff since 2017, but a lot more in the last few years because we've been more and more vindicated. That's why. But I've heard the same things since even before I started buying in 2015 when I believed these dumb things. I believed a lot of these. I didn't believe it was the mark of the beast, but it's the stepping stone to the mark of the beast. They want you to use it. Blah, blah, blah. There's nothing that backs it. It's going to zero. This is the favorite thing of the boomers. What's it? It's backed by nothing. It's backed by nothing? You mean like fiat currency is backed by nothing? You understand how stupid that objection is? If it's bad because it's, quote, backed by nothing, which, by the way, it's not backed by nothing, but even if it were backed by nothing, then that means that you're even dumber as a boomer for holding the dollar, which literally is backed by nothing. How stupid are you? By the way, the reason that Bitcoin is another big vindicator for people like us in our sphere, guys, is because the only way that anyone would have gotten into Bitcoin early on, get this, absolutely, Bitcoin is more virtuous than fiat, by the way. Boomers can't fathom that. Why? Because of the conspiracy domain. And there's a two-edged sword here with this. This is a two-edged sword. Why? Well, the only people who would have gotten into Bitcoin back in the day were people who were familiar with critiques of the Federal Reserve, critiques of, Ron Paul type stuff, and people who understood the libertarian tech domain, right? So that was the early, you only would have understood and gotten into that if you knew that the Federal Reserve was a scam. And the only people who knew that back in the 2000s were the Ron Paul, Austrian school, von Mises domain. That's it. All of the people, and by the way, the people who still diss this, most of the time are mainline normie Keynesians and socialists, right? Most of the haters, right? And the legacy boomer people, the Dave Ramseys, Peter Schiffs, these people, Kramers, blah, blah, blah. The worst people to listen to. I mean, if you think about all the other things that boomers told you to do, join the military, fight for your country. Oh yeah, good advice. Go into debt, go to college. Yeah, good advice. All terrible advice. All of the normie boomer advice in the last 20 years was the worst advice to do. Do you not see that? And the same people with that terrible advice throughout the 2000s are the same ones repeating this dumb stuff now. And they'll repeat it in 2030 when it's $1 million a coin. They'll still be saying the same stuff. It's used by the drug dealers. What's the biggest currency used by drug dealers in the world? Oh, the dollar. Good job. That turns back on you. Look at gold. It's up 30% in 5 years. 30%? I mean, we've already showed the Bitcoin versus gold chart many times. Come on. The quantum computers will delete it all in the year 2070. Yeah, who cares? Come on. It's like sci-fi stuff. Anyway, so that's the rant there about that. Don't listen to boomers on this kind of stuff is my point. Because boomers are like, this is the future. Literal conquistador stuff. And by the way, I said in the chat, if you hodl Bitcoin for the next 15 years, you'll be able to buy all the gold you want. How's that? You want to get Mo gold? You want to be like Trinidad James? Gold all over my chain. Gold all over my watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Bleep, 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 bleep. You want gold? Then buy Bitcoin. And in 10 years, you can buy all the gold you want. Boom, life hack right there. I just blew the mind of every boomer gold bug right there. Look at that right there. Blowing minds with the next level stuff. Now, next rant relates again to boomers and their nonsense with this goofball who has almost 1 million subscribers. This video popped up and I was like, what the heck is this? And it's another one of these annoying boomers who, by the way, admits he's crazy. If you watch this video, he's like, oh, I had mental problems, but now I'm good because I'm living in my Subaru. And I told my son, I chose to live in my Subaru because I was following my heart. What an embarrassment. Living the boomer hippie dream. Oh, yeah, man. Why can't we just all live in a Subaru? Yeah. Listening to my Creedence Clearwater Revival playlist, man. That's ideal. Yeah. Living in a Subaru. He's not even living in a cool Graper van. He's not even in a cool 80s airbrush wizard and wolf on the side van. He's in a Subaru. At least live in a van if you're going to live in a van down by the river. Don't live in a Subaru down by the river. What? But why is van living and tiny living promoted everywhere YouTube? Because we can't make any money, and we're never going to make money. Well, first of all, if you're going to live in a van, take your money and put it into investments. Now, do y'all remember the Bitcoin family? Diddy? Everybody made fun of this dude. This dude's rolling. When I first started buying is when this dude was in the news because he went all in on BTC back in the day. This dude right here, I don't know this dude. I'm not promoting this dude. I'm just saying he had the right idea. Didi Taihutu. Okay. So I think he's like a Dutch dude or something. So he was in the news back in the day because he moved his family into a van down by the river. Right? So people are like, I'm going to live in a van down by the river, beat the system. Tiny living. Oh, I'm going to live in a compartment in a coon pod, beat the system. Now this dude had the right idea with his family, by the way, to live in an RV back in the day, almost 8 years ago, right? And I remember hearing about this dude. I was like, that dude's hardcore. I don't know if I'm at that point yet, but he sold everything, lived in a van down by the river, and now is living good. I have no idea what his actual portfolio is. Doesn't matter because I'm sure he's probably at least multimillionaire, right? But I mean, if you want to live in a van, well, then this dude did it that way. But you're not beating the system by living in a van for the sake of living in a van. Don't you understand? Your poverty can be a virtue signal, which makes you think that you're better than everybody, and you're actually in a worse scenario when you're prideful over your fake virtue signaling. Did none of the virtue signalers get this? Like, if you're virtue signaling your poverty, that's pride, and you're worse off than a rich dude who's not virtue signaling. But this is actually, if you understand human psychology, it's a cloak for envy. Virtue signaling, in many cases, if not all cases, is really a cloak for resentment and envy because you failed in this or that domain. So then you look for, and this is fallen human nature, a way to, in your own mind, prop yourself up as better than other people. Oh, that guy did this, he's successful, he's got this and this. Well, but I am living in poverty, and so I'm better than him. That's pride. You're worse than him. So I've been seeing these van living, tiny living videos promoted all over YouTube. Tristan and I have done many podcasts where we've been making fun of this stuff and talking about how it's a scam. Social engineering pushed upon you since 2018. So Tristan and I started doing 2018. We were talking about get in your coon pod, the van is a mobile coon pod, dummies. It's the same thing. And this guy's not even in a van. If you're going to be a boomer creeper out there, get a freaking creeper van, man. Get a van with, what do they call them, a shagging wagon? If that's the lifestyle you're going to live, don't get a Subaru. Let's see, a van with airbrush. I want an airbrush wizard and a moon and a wolf and a dream catcher. This is the van I want to see you in, dude. If you're going to live in a van by the river, it better be this van. I want lightning bolts, of rainbow coming out of the unicorn the wizard is riding. I want to see gnomes coming out the back. I want to see planets on your creeper van. I want blue lightning. I want to see the merchant from Resident Evil. I had a stranger, I got some new wares. That's what I want to see on your creeper van. If you dare to live in a van down by the river. This is the only acceptable van down. I want to see warriors with swords, sorcerers, wolves, illegal flags. Don't put Star Trek on there. That's straight up PEDO van. We know you're a PEDO if you do that. Wizards, dude. It's got to be a damn wizard. Like, that's what I want to see. That's the only acceptable van. Maybe even a damn goddess. A fairy boobed goddess. That's also acceptable for your van by the river. Now, used to be in the 90s, if you lived in a van down by the river, Chris Farley was making fun of you on Saturday Night Live. Now, boomers are virtue signaling, and they got 1 million damn subscribers. I'll never have as many subscribers as this stupid boomer promoting living in a Subaru. And he admits that he's got mental problems. What the heck is going on in the world, guys? I can't get 500,000 subscribers. A mentally ill boomer living in a Subaru can get 770,000 subscribers. We have 470 people over here. Only in America. Everyone is idiots. Everyone is idiots. That's the new motto on this channel now. Everyone is idiots. Even if you hate crypto, you hate Bitcoin, dude, don't tell me this channel is not as good or better, equal to or better than mentally unstable boomer living in a Subaru. I gave up everything to live in a Subaru Forester. What? How do you have 770,000 subscribers doing this? Well, the algorithm is promoting these people. Just like that girl a few years ago who went from 0 to 1 million with like 3 videos about van living. What? So we have been talking about this, making fun of it. This boomer here brags about living in a Subaru. It's not even a wizard van. Giving advice on how to get around and where to poop in your hump van, right? Your car home. He stated that he was doing this because he followed his heart. He has more views and subs than I'll ever have. This is not a situation, by the way, where people are in poverty due to extenuating circumstances. People choosing to live in these vehicles, and many of them, especially Gen Z, are touting it as a virtue signal for the planet. I'm going to live in a van for the planet. These trends are not organic. The establishment wants austerity, Great Reset, and ending your economic independence. These videos are extremely popular amongst the Gen Z crowd. It appeals to the idealistic youth who think that they're going to live in a car when they're 40. When you're 40, you don't want to live in a car, dude. You want your own bedroom. I promise you. I don't care how much fun you're having right now. 20, 30 even. 30 is pretty late. You're not going to be wanting to live in a van, a Subaru by the river when you're 30, dude. I promise you. In fact, Jamie and I were eating dinner at a place, and our waitress was talking about how she was shaving up her paychecks, and when she had enough, she was going to get a van and do van life. Listen to me. Klaus wants you doing van life. I promise you.
The children should be living in the vans down by the river.
Klaus wants you living in a van down by the river. Can you believe this was something that was made fun of in the 90s? And the character Chris Farley character is mentally unstable, right? He's a self-help guy who used to live in a van down by the river. Now the boomers and YouTube is promoting you to live in a van down by the river. And the guy actually says he was mentally ill. We live in a Saturday Night Live skit. Do you understand? Everybody's idiots. We live in a Saturday Night Live skit that is reality now. Chris Farley's van down by the river is what YouTube is telling you to do. This is so crazy. This is inversion, dude. Wacky world. Can you believe this? Do not fall for these idiotic lifestyle messages. When I was in my 20s, right, if you wanted, this is what, to fulfill this desire, you do a road trip. Okay, this is what a road trip is. It's not a lifestyle. A road trip is not a lifestyle, you idiots. And when you look back on your 20s, you'll have some good memories of doing, if you want to do this for a year or something when you're 20, yeah, go for it. This is not a lifestyle, dummies. It's what you call doing a road trip. That's it. When you're in your 20s, you do a road trip. You don't do a lifestyle of living in a van by the river. It's not freedom. This is financial slavery. Now, for some people, there may be some unique cases where maybe this is the right lifestyle choice of RV living or whatever for maybe a very minuscule portion of the population. So again, yeah, there could be some people who need to live this way. I don't know. But look, it's being promoted for social engineering. So just don't fall for this nonsense in your algorithmic feed that's programming you. Because remember, the algorithm knows who you are, your age, your preferences, and what you're likely to be influenced to do. And the algorithms are nudging everyone. You have a limited time in your life to store the value of the energy that you put into your work. That's what money is. Okay, money is not evil. Money is just a medium of exchange and a store of energy, a store of value. It's a symbolic thing. And this is what the boomers don't understand, is that money has never had to be or needed to be necessarily tangible and physical. In the same way that boomers have an app on their phone where they transfer and do their banking now on their phone, that's not physical. You're already doing things in the E-realm. Boomers are already doing banking in the E-realm. I guarantee you Dave Ramsey has an app and does banking on his app or his phone. And yet he turns around and thinks that Bitcoin isn't physical, so it's not based on anything. Yeah, your app is not physical, goofus. On your phone. This is so stupid. Anyway. So, there's my rant about this. I'm so tired of seeing this stuff everywhere. Also, people just simply don't comprehend that the world is run on scams. And I understand why people would be skeptical of Bitcoin and crypto, given the fact that there's so many scams out there. But we wouldn't be at this stage of 100K Bitcoin if it was a scam. Do you understand? I haven't looked at Syria. I don't know what's going on with Syria. So people are telling me to cover Syria. I literally have not seen what the news is. I don't even know. I planned this chat today to try to help people economically. If you want to support the stream, you can do so via Super Chat. Super Chats are right there. Now, let's look at a couple things that also relate to this. One of which is the... not Van down by the river. So Mark Moss did a really great lecture some months back. And I missed this lecture. I watched a bunch of his talks. He's a really good kind of finance guy to listen to. But I noticed as I was listening to this lecture he did in, I think, Amsterdam, that, hey, wait a minute. This is just like everything I talk about with Bretton Woods, Quigley. And so this is why this audience should be perfectly primed and correctly prepped to understand what we're talking about with this ultimate store value. A lot of this audience and you guys have still not understood, I think, that this is not speculative assets. We may still be kind of at the stage where people are investing because it's a speculative thing or they think they're going to make money or whatever. But the point is that, no, this is the revolution in money itself. This is the solution to history's fiat gold note scam, Rothschild banking scam history. Because the scam was always centered around putting out more notes, gold certificates in the first few chapters of Quigley, beyond the actual gold holdings. That's the origins of all the fiat scammery. Anybody who's listened to us, listened to the Quigley talks, knows this. And ever since the Quigley stuff that I lectured on, 10 years ago, you should go listen to those 8 lectures. They're still up. That's kind of level 1 here. If you've not done those, you need to do those. And the full talks are available at my website for subscribers. You can listen to the halves and still get the information if you're a cheapo. It's $5. Like, guys, if you can't afford $5, man, I don't know what to tell you. You should have been listening to me a long time ago. But what we saw was the Bretton Woods system erected post-World War II. That was designed by the banking elite cabal. And this information, this Ron Paul, Austrian economics, Quigley information, is now going mainstream. The mainstreaming of this is via a lot of this to do with Bitcoin. Now, gold prepped the way. A lot of the gold bugs prepped the way with critiquing Federal Reserve and all that. But this is exploding across Twitter and YouTube via Bitcoin. And all of the people who understand Bitcoin understand it because of understanding the Federal Reserve scam and the history of fiat debasement of currency. It's that simple. And when you go into the big influencers' lectures, whether it's Michael Saylor or whether it's Mark Moss, and etc., everyone understands fiat is a scam. So don't you understand? This is a good thing. Yes, there's a lot of scam people still in crypto. There's a lot of projects that are going to fail and all that. Yeah, so what? We're already turning the tide. Do you understand that in 2017, hardly anyone understood that fiat was a scam? But with the Bitcoin ethos, necessarily comes the educating of the people in that ethos that fiat is a scam. Why would you not be for this on the education side of it? So let's listen to a little bit of Mark Moss, and I'm going to comment on it. I'm recommending to you people that I've seen be consistently insightful and correct to further show you that we are correct and that these are people who are good to listen to and have good insights. So I'm not going to play the whole video, but we're going to get into some of this, and you're going to notice, hey, sounds a lot like what Jay's talked about with Quigley, with British intelligence, with World War II, espionage, all this kind of stuff.
This is the premium garment duffel 45.
Now, why am I doing this? Because we had people asking this week, I don't understand this stuff. Please help me understand it. Well, level 1 to understanding this is understanding what money is, the history of money printing, Federal Reserve, and the banking cartel scam. That's level 1. None of this is going to be understood until you understand that. And to the credit of the gold people and the Ron Paul sphere, they prepared the way. The Austrian economic school people were correct on this stuff. Not everything that the Austrian economics people say is correct, but when it comes to the basics, they're pretty much correct on the basics. And we all know I have a lot of criticisms of libertarian stuff, but when it comes to the basic ideas of money and the transfer of wealth, value, all that kind of, they're basically right. So let's listen to some of this. And I know that they're basically right because I put those principles into my own life in the last 10 years, and it has worked. So there's your proof in the pudding.
Yeah. All right, I know it's late in the day. But hopefully you got a little bit of energy left for me. I gotta compress my time a little bit here, so I gotta talk really fast. So I need you to stick with me. Hopefully you can keep some energy with me because we got an important topic. The end of the international monetary order. Sounds pretty cool, right? All right. A little bit of energy, I like.
Now, what he's talking about here is the end of the old legacy Bretton Woods system. That is really the culmination of that Bank for International Settlements, Quigley system that we're talking about. And he's saying that we're at the end of that old legacy system because of the rise of digital monetization, digital assets, etc. Now, that it could, yes, it is true, it could go in a bad direction. You could have a CBDC Klaus coin, Fed coin. They will absolutely try to do this. However, that is very difficult given what Bitcoin is and what it represents. So all the fake Fed usury coins have to compete with Bitcoin, you see. And that is already very difficult to beat. First of all, because Bitcoin is already there and already, almost 2 trillion, 1.8 trillion, whatever it is. Bitcoin has flipped silver. Did you understand this? All the haters. It's flipped silver. What does that mean? It means it's going to flip gold, goofuses. I don't know when. It might take 10 years. It might be 5 years. But when it flips gold, it's going to be $800,000. That's how we get to the $1 million Bitcoin price. Why will it flip gold? Because it's better than gold.
Yeah. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to show you what the end of this current international monetary order looks like and where I think the most probable outcome goes. So we're going to talk about that. All right, we're going to go really, really fast here. So the first thing you have to understand in order to know how the international monetary system ends is, first of all, what is the monetary order that we have right now? So if we look at this, the first thing you have to understand is that we don't want money. None of us want money. Sounds crazy, right? What we want is the things that money buys us. We want goods and services. And so throughout history, it was always goods and services. We had a barter system. We had to come up with a new technology that allowed the barter system to work better, which gave us a type of money. Many things were used as money, shells, feathers, rocks, and eventually gold was emerged.
Now, some of this is just kind of all, I think we're all probably aware of this. Different symbolic things have stood for and been used as money, right? Stood for value. Seashells, tally sticks, whatever, right? So I'm going to skip past a little bit of this because he's just kind of moving through the history of it. And gold became, this is pretty relevant history because you need to understand the notion of the ledger, and that eventually when gold becomes kind of an international standard during the period of the empires, like Spanish Empire, Portuguese Empire, British Empire, gold becomes a standard because it's the most useful of that era, right? Of those empires, and those empires utilized some form of gold ledger as the standard for the currency transactions in the imperium.
Right, you guys are on the map. Now, if you measure each...
That's important because you need to understand the notion of a ledger for Bitcoin's ledger. So there's a reason why we're going through this history lesson. And I think everybody over here, we have enough IQ. This is a high IQ audience. We know that history is very important. Now, remember also, global elitist Jacques Attali accidentally in his book, Millennium, accidentally almost stumbles upon what Bitcoin is. Remember that? We covered that in my Jacques Attali Elite Lectures. I am not saying that Jacques Attali is a good person. I am not saying that he understood Bitcoin. What he talks about in ancient empires is that the rise of those empires, and we're talking about not even ancient ones, but the more recent modern European empires, I should say. Those empires were centered around technological advances that made something very cheap. I think the Dutch or somebody created some kind of fast-moving boat that they produced very cheap, and this is how the Dutch eventually had a Dutch empire for some period. Later empire, British Empire, whatever, they would make these advancements that would focus and shift the global barter trade economics to that region. So you get cities and regions that become the locus of interaction and trade. Now, the argument is that as Bitcoin is understood, as it grows, as it becomes this thing that will suck in all value as the superior store of value, it doesn't have to be a day-to-day currency, dummy. We don't need Bitcoin to be the thing that's transacted and used on a day-to-day basis. It can be like you don't go to Kroger and give them gold doubloons to buy your grocery goofuses. you have something else that can be used to represent the gold. Likewise, other stable coins, whatever, could be used. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin that's used in every single transaction. All Bitcoin has to be is the superior store of value. That alone makes it the winner, right? Anyway, so we need this history lesson, though, to understand the notions of the international monetary order, how it's done, how it's structured, and the ledger system.
One of those reserve currencies, each one of those global superpowers, they're about 80 years, 80 to 90 years each. That's about the time frame that it lasts. But it was always with a gold type of money. Now
remember, this is basically the same thing that's in Jacques Attali's book when we lectured through it. If you didn't hear my Jacques Attali lecture, if you don't understand the way the elite think in terms of I'm the only channel that lectures through 60, 70 of the elite books. No one else does this. I don't know why we don't have more people over here. But if you go over here to the live, we lectured through Jacques Attali's book that touches on this. Somewhere in here. Where is that? Here it is. Predicting the Future with Global Elite Books. And when we did this talk, we talked about, look at that, Bitcoin's at 70. Here we are 5 months later, and Bitcoin is worth $30,000 more per coin than when I gave this talk. And I talked about Bitcoin in this talk fulfilling the things that Jacques Attali talked about that make for future value and future success for empires. What do you know? So if you didn't watch that, you should watch that, because it's exactly what Mark Moss is talking about.
something changed after World War II. And the new international monetary order
Bretton Woods
started to emerge. It didn't fully emerge, it started to emerge in Bretton Woods in 1944. The entire world got together and agreed on a new monetary system. And the system is...
The world got together, as Quigley says, because it was the elite establishment, the banking corporate elite, making and setting up that new dollar-based system. So this is everything that's in Tragedy and Hope in like 20 seconds.
That it would still be gold-backed system, but because now of globalization, we needed a money that was faster. So what we would do is we'd put the gold in the bank, we'd use these paper gold certificates instead, or a ledger system, and we could move money around faster. It would help the world speed up. So the dollar emerged as the reserve currency of the world. It was backed by gold, and then all the currencies of the world were pegged to the dollar. It's the system that we're in today. It was established in 1944.
So that's the Bretton Woods system. This is the elite Western banking corporate cabal, dollar-based system that they set up. But as you guys probably know, at that time, it was still a gold-based dollar. So the dollar was attached to something with actual value. Okay? And just because Bitcoin is not attached to gold doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. Value is found in our era in the algorithm, the network, the nodes, and the belief and the math of the system already. Okay, so we're not arguing that it has to be attached to something physical to have value. Just as boomers use their app, and their app is not attached to something physical, just as the dollar that the boomer uses is not attached to something physical. It's fiat. The value does not have to be a physical thing. The value is the value of the network, you see. Now, if you don't think networks have value, go look at the value of Facebook. Facebook, yes, it's a giant spying scam thing. Yeah, we know that. But it has value because it's a giant social network with billions and billions and billions of dollars of value. So, boomer, reorient your thinking to understand that value does not equal physicality. It used to. We are in an information age and era where value is no longer necessarily tied to something physical. It may be. Artwork is still valuable. Gold is still valuable. Physical things are definitely still valuable. But in this new age that we are entering, there's a new class of things that are now highly valuable that are not physical. They are computer-based, internet-based, abstract, mathematical, algorithmically based, cryptography-based systems. And systems have value. So boomers have to move away from this outdated mindset that the only thing that has value is physical. I was arguing with some family members in 2019 over Bitcoin. And one of this family members were, this section were very wealthy. They have money in a lot of real estate and properties. And we were arguing over this, and I was already convinced. This was in, like I've told you guys, 2018, 19, right? I had not a lot, but $13,000 worth of gold or something, actual gold, like physical gold, right? And I was like, Bitcoin is the future, not gold. So I dumped that, and at that time bought one Bitcoin. Right. Now that's back in 2019. Right. So we went all in earlier than that, but that's specifically when I went all in, not just with the money that comes in, but also with other things that I had. That's when I started realizing, oh, wait a minute, the gold that's sitting there making 5% a year, or 10, whatever it is, 10% a year, is nothing compared to the Bitcoin that makes 50% in a bull market, or 100% in a bull market. So why would I not want the money in the Bitcoin? It's not that hard of a decision. So I was arguing with these relatives, and it was like, I don't know, Thanksgiving or something, 2018, 19, somewhere in there. And the relatives were saying, now this is Gen X and Boomer relatives. They were saying, no, the only thing that has value is what's physical, real estate, land. And I was like, well, it does have value, but if you're looking for returns, you're not going to get the same returns that you would get in this market that you would get in that market. Now, there was a period in what was it, 2020-ish? So real estate has gone up, right? Part of that, of course, is inflation, and every asset going up is in part due to inflation, sure, which is not actual accruing of value. But I don't think, and we did invest in real estate too, but looking back, I wish I had not invested in real estate and invested more in Bitcoin than in real estate. And of course, hindsight is always 20/20, and you can choose to diversify, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, you can have your stonks and you can have your real estate and all that. But I don't think that you're going to get the best returns from those things, especially given the fact that Trump won. This is huge. And the fact that you're going to see more and more large corporations moving into this Bitcoin sphere. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. But we're still in this period where boomers think, well, the government is going to ban it next year. What? Ban it? What are you talking about? Any government that bans this, even back when China did their banning and all that, that hurts them. Because the countries that don't ban it are the ones that are going to benefit. Has El Salvador benefited from adopting Bitcoin? Absolutely. Has Bhutan benefited? Yes. And now America will benefit because everything is bullish pro-Bitcoin in America now. So it's very important, I think, in this domain not to overthink. You can always learn, but a lot of people who, especially in the high IQ information conspiracy world, overthink stuff and overanalyze it. And have you noticed that the people who actually typically are financially well off and doing good, have you noticed that they're not always that smart? It's not the geniuses that are typically making bank. Why is that? Because smart people overthink and they overanalyze and they run through in their head all the ways that something will fail. And that can actually be detrimental to your success. Because if you're sitting there overthinking and overanalyzing all the ways you're going to fail and all the ways this won't work, then you won't take action and you miss out. Now, the relatives were, again, arguing that nothing that is physical or that is internet based has value because the dot-com bubble. Now, first of all, yes, the dot-com bubble happened, but it was a bubble that was still the future. It was just too much too quick, and the world was not ready for that future yet. But the dot-com bubble popped because it wasn't, the infrastructure was still coming, you see. So it wasn't that everybody was wrong in the dot-com bubble. It was just that it was too much too quick. And all of those big companies ended up becoming zillion-dollar companies eventually. Maybe not all of them, you know what I mean, right? Like Amazon and Apple and Google and all these kinds of things. They eventually became the beasts that they are today. And so in the same way, we already, I think, kind of had the last cycle with FTX and all those big scam things that collapsed. That caused so many people to say, oh, the whole domain of crypto is a giant Ponzi scheme like Sam Bankman-Fried. And again, Sam Bankman-Fried had nothing to do with Bitcoin. Okay, I don't know where people didn't understand this. People just have no knowledge of what's actually going on, and they just group everything together. Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried, he runs the Bitcoin company. No, nothing to do with Bitcoin. There is no Bitcoin company. He ran a Democratic Party front scam money laundering operation that was a giant Ponzi scheme structured the same way that the Vatican Bank scam was structured. So nothing to do with Bitcoin, but that toxified crypto for the next couple of years until eventually it came back. So maybe we could liken the dot-com bubble to the era of the hype of FTX and Luna. We had that series of things, right? We had Voyager, we had Silver Arrow, we had Silicon Valley Bank, we had FTX, we had Celsius, and a bunch of other scam things, and it all popped. It was all fake. But that was not Bitcoin, dummies. That had nothing to do with Bitcoin. Occupy my life. I'm not talking about necessarily getting rich. So you can choose to do and shoot for whatever goals you want. I'm talking about understanding how the system works and understanding basic economics and not being scammed by the fiat system. So, yeah, if the fact that Chris Langan doesn't care about being rich, that has nothing to do with whether or not people want to understand the economic order, how it works, and whether they want to make decisions for their future. So, nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
If you're good at math, it's about 80 years. About the length that most of these reserve currencies last. But something else drastically changed, and this is what we have to understand. In 1971, about 50 years ago, something really drastic changed, where all of history changed, and we no longer used commodity money anymore. The dollar was no longer backed by a commodity, was no longer backed by gold.
This is the shot doctrine.
We went into a completely paper fiat money system. So in 1971, Richard Nixon closed the gold window. The U.S. defaulted on its debt. And we've been in this paper money system since. It's an experiment. For all of humanity, we've used a commodity money. And now for 50 years, we've been trying this paper experiment. And it hasn't been working out too well. We're going to go through that. So this is the existing monetary order that we're in right now. A paper fiat money system, as Zoltan Pozsar calls it, inside money. We're not insiders. We're going to cover that more. Now, as I said, about every 80 years, we know that this resets. I like to call these financial revolutions. About every 80 years, we see this. I'm kind of the cycles guy. I was up here on a cycles panel yesterday. I was one in the deep earlier today. Now, I like to look at financial cycles, technology cycles, and political revolution cycles, but we're just looking at one right now. So about every 80 years, as I said, these reset. About 80 years ago was the Bretton Woods Agreement. Now,
and again, that's all the old legacy system that is presently dying and going away. Again, the next point he makes is a point that we've made many, many times. In fact, 6 months ago when I was on Timcast, what were we talking about? Everything that I'm talking about today. And I said, Bitcoin's going to explode. Bitcoin is the future. Bitcoin. And Tim and the other guy, they all argued with me, which is fine. I don't care. You can have your disagreements and your doubts and your opinions. Of course, actually what Tim did was presented both sides, right? He presented the side of Bitcoin is a trick to get us into a digital global future, or Bitcoin is the future and it'll be make everybody who holds it now rich. So there is me 6 months ago talking about the fact that all fiat currencies go to zero. The exact same thing that Mark Moss is talking about right here.
Turkey and Argentina and Venezuela, and all of these currencies just completely melt down. You can see them priced in gold. They're just plunging left and right. The dollar is still, as we like to say, the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, if you will.
Now, again, hopefully you guys know this, but if you don't know why fiat currencies go to zero, it's because when governments or private entities that run the government, when they have the power of the money printer, there is no incentive really for them to stop the scam. They can always keep printing more money because they actually buy the debt and they buy the bills and the treasury bills issued by the state or whatever to prop it up. And so it's kind of a self-generating scam that they can keep running for generations, and the money or the value is actually stolen from the population over time. So it's a very profitable, very cunning scam that's centuries old. The Quigley book talks about it extensively. That's how we know it's real. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's actually how the banking system actually works. But if you don't read the big books like Tragedy and Hope, you won't understand, you won't know, and you won't see that it's a scam. So how do we get out of this scam? Well, for a long time, people thought gold was the way out, and probably it was the best way out if you're from that boomer generation or, greatest generation or whatever, or even prior to that. Probably gold and assets were the best way to store value. That's what rich people would do. Rich people would store their money in houses, luxury goods, etc. And let's think about something like a Rolex. If you're middle class or lower middle class, you probably look at people that have a Rolex and you think, oh, they're showy, they're wasting their money. No, did you know that Rolexes are actually a store of value? They actually don't go down, they go up. And other luxury items for rich people are stores of value. Because maybe not every rich person, but many rich people actually know that, oh my gosh, get out of here with this stupid shit. There's no patience for these idiots anymore. A lot of rich people know that their money stored in cash is depreciating over time through inflation, through the money printer. So, yeah, housing was for a long time the number one store of value. That's why a rich guy owns like 10 properties and he doesn't live in them. He's storing value there to try to hedge against inflation. That's why. And that's why rich people also have valuable assets, because they know that dollars are scams. Fiat currency is a scam. That's why. So that actually reorients to why people have valuable, wealthy things. It's not just to be showy or to blow their money. It's part of storing value.
The dollar's still looking pretty good. So when you see the Turkish lira losing 95% of its value to the US dollar, you're thinking, shoot, probably shouldn't hang on to that Turkish lira. Should have probably tried to move into dollars. That would have probably been a better bet. So we see all these currencies dropping to the dollar, but the dollar is also crashing. In the United States, the US dollar's down 65% to the S&P 500 in the last 5 years. The dollar's down 45% to the average real estate in the last 5 years. So it's crashing too. We have to understand this.
And why is the dollar down? Because of the Federal Reserve money printing system. They can print as much money as they want, and they can then buy up the assets with that money, and they steal via the inflation, via the destruction of the purchasing power of the dollar from us. And they tax us. So it's a giant generational theft system. Once you figure that out, then you understand what money is. In the modern Bretton Woods, it's a giant scam. It's that simple. Scams within scams. That's all you have to know. So how are we going to get out of this? We need something that's a hard asset. What that means is not physical. It means that it's not inflatable, like dollars are. What's a hard asset that's fixed in its supply? Gold? Oh, no, actually, gold is not a hard asset. It's a semi-hard asset, but there's always mines discovering gold and bringing more gold, isn't there?
But I want to explain to you why this current monetary system is failing, and there's three main reasons that we're going to go through right now, and then we'll look at what comes after this, all right? But you have to understand the problems first. Let's break this down. So we have three problems I'm going to break down for you. First, we're witnessing massive deglobalization that the world hasn't seen for about 80 years. Two, massive amounts of debt that are causing a serious drag. And three, the single most important piece, in my opinion, we'll break this down for you, which is trust. All right, so let's go through that real quick. So the first thing we have to understand is that the world changes. There's a story I like of Albert Einstein, one of the smartest men in history.
He says deglobalization. He's talking about like BRICS and people going away from the dollar. That's all he means by that. He doesn't mean that there's not a globalist movement. He's talking about deglobalization and economics and the BRICS type of stuff. Russia, China. Again, that doesn't matter. The point is not to get into BRICS and all this stuff, because he argues that BRICS is not going to really do anything better, because BRICS is just another version of this older legacy system, and they're going to have, maybe they're going to base it on gold. I don't know what they're going to try to do, but it doesn't matter. It's all legacy stuff. It's all still debt. And then he goes on to arguing about what is needed in this domain is still trust, because the old systems of gold were based on gold ledgers, and everyone had to trust that the central banks throughout the world were accurately keeping ledgers and that they weren't lying. Well, I don't trust the scamming banker system to accurately keep their ledgers. Do you? Of course not. So, we're going to need some kind of semi-public ledger that isn't changeable and corruptible. Now, all the goofballs that try to argue with me about all this stuff, Bitcoin, they don't even talk about ledger. They don't talk about any of this stuff. So if you don't even know about this, why are you arguing about stuff that you don't know about? Educate yourself before you try to debate about stuff. Do we not see this on this channel all the time over here? In other words, when people come on to debate philosophical, religious topics, right? We all see that these people come on and they are arrogant know-it-alls and they don't know anything. Don't we? Well, guess what? If you don't know anything about economics and money and all that, and I don't mean did you go to college and take an economics class that taught you Keynesian crap, right? Yeah, I don't believe BRICS is actually in opposition to the BIS. It's propped up as in opposition to the dollar, right? And so it's just another kind of legacy operation for a legacy Eurasian model, right? Yeah, we're not here for everybody to pump shitcoins. That's not the point of this talk.
He's got the same problem. Massive amounts of debt. It's almost going straight up. And it's not just the U.S., and it's not just the ECB. As a matter of fact, the big three central banks that really matter are all doing the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, the U.S. Treasury put out a report titled The Unsustainable Path. There's no way out. Doesn't work. Now, we knew it wasn't going to work. We always knew it wouldn't work. We always knew it was going to fail. When is the question? It's failing. But the bigger reason why it's failing isn't just the deglobalization and people not wanting to trade, not wanting to use their money. It's not just because the massive amounts of debt that continue to pile up. The biggest problem overall is this. Trust is dead. Trust has been failing for a long time. As a matter of fact, the United States...
Why is trust dead? Because everything is run on scams within scams within scams. That's why. All of it. Why? Because it's a giant usury-based system. It's all a giant bubble. And yes, it's a control system. It's a system engineered to not allow you to rise up through heavy taxation from the middle class into the upper middle class and into wealth. All of that is there on purpose to keep you down. And you don't know that until you start to make money and run a business. That's when you first learn that the taxation system isn't there to build the roads and all this nonsense. It's there to keep people out of the upper classes. That's what it's there for. It's 100% a giant scam system all over across the board. It's a control system. And so we need something that solves these challenges, these major roadblocks to progress, to having an actually functioning economy. So we need it to be a hard asset. We need it to be easily transferable, to store value and wealth over time, and to be fixed, a hard asset, and to not be inflated, and it to be public and not secret. So, wonder what that might be. What thing fulfills these criteria?
So that partner again.
So I'm going to skip past the trust part because he's essentially just making that point there. And then he's going to talk about, okay, well, what about gold? Doesn't gold kind of meet a lot of these? And we're going to look at some of the problems of commodities or gold.
Some charts. We're seeing central banks buying more gold than any time in history as they're dumping treasuries. Now, I know for some of you treasury bulls out there, but wait a minute, Mark, because the last treasury auction had record demand. Sure, from the banks in Luxembourg. Sure, from the commercial banks. Sure, not from the southern banks, not from the global south. Didn't come from China. It didn't come from Japan. It didn't come from Saudi Arabia or India or Argentina or any of those countries. They're buying gold. And more than buying gold, they're stockpiling the commodities in the ground. OPEC says, hey, we're just going to hold the oil in the ground. Why would in the ground? Then they would have the treasury. So they're going to compete with that. There is no replacement for the U.S. system. But they're not buying a different country's treasuries. They're buying gold. The problem is it already failed before. We live in an information world today. We need money to transfer at the speed.
Now, this is key, right? So how are we going to have a international economic order to replace Bretton Woods if gold is not going to work? Because how are we going to do it with gold? Oh, well, we're going to have to trust these banks to use ledgers that they control. And how are we going to sail our Spanish galleons across the sea and transfer giant chests of gold to do that? No. Obviously, in the information age, we would use digital money. I didn't say digital dollar. I said digital money, you see. I'm not talking about e-cash in some fiat dollar system. I'm talking about something else that is not controlled by any government or central entity. That is also very important for this. We do not want a central controlled economic thing, because anything that is that way, centralized, and in theory, centralized systems can work. But we don't want money to be centralized because there's way too much impetus for corruption, for abusing the centrality control. That's why the classic dictum, as we know, I think it's Nathan Rothschild, I don't care who's elected a leader, give me control of the money printer, and I say what goes. I care not who the president is. Give me control of the money printer. Doesn't matter who is elected. So you see, we don't want a state-run bank, and we don't want a private corporate-run bank. How could we do that, though? Thus, you see, only the Austrian economic system could produce the Bitcoin idea. Doesn't mean that Austrian economics is right about everything. We've had many debates with Austrian people over here on this channel, many libertarians, many, but some of these basic principles they are correct about. And in this regard, they're correct that where could this come from? Only with the technological revolution and the information internet age that we're in could you have this thing come about. And if you're still, oh, but it's run by the NSA and the CIA, all of those entities that you're talking about, the CIA, they're Keynesian, IMF, World Bank, Rockefeller, OSS systems. The OSS was started by a bunch of Keynesians. It was not started by Austrian economic people. What are you talking about? And there may have been times when people from the CIA, like the Austrian Economic School or this libertarian guy worked in the CIA. That's not relevant to what we're talking about. The ethos of the intelligence superstructure, its whole origins, according to all the history that we talk about over all these years, all the lectures over here, all the thousands of pages of books that we've read and talked about, the one we're about to do, Black Gold Spies, all the British spies, their ethos is not Austrian economics. It is Keynesian, soft socialist economics. So no, the CIA did not invent Bitcoin to destroy the CIA. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. Oh, but you're not a 6,600,000 dimensional conspiracy theorist analyzer who doesn't understand how the NSA really secretly runs the Bitcoin from an underground base and blah. None of that is worth any of anybody's time. And you're poor because you bought into a bunch of stupid conspiracy theories. Just like I was in 2015 when I believed dumb conspiracy theories. I am a conspiracy person. But the key thing is to understand the true and the false conspiracies, you see. Because as you guys know, the conspiracy domain is full of stupid, idiotic crap that is a waste of everyone's time. So, we want to cut through the crap, get to the real issues. The real issues are not aliens and Tartaria. It's the banking system. That's the way you're controlled. It's this stuff. How do we get out? You don't never got no answers to nothing. You talk about conspiracies all day long, but you ain't got no answers. And when I talk for hours and hours and hours about answers and solutions, particularly economically, people don't listen, and they bitch, and they whine, and they moan, and they give me all the same FUD and idiot answers that every boomer says from every economic boomer outlet from 10 years ago. Well, then why are you even over here? Go play your video games. Stop wasting our time. No one cares about your whining and bitching and moaning. If you don't find this interesting, then don't be here. Go elsewhere. What the hell is even that?
Of our transactions over the internet, and gold can't do that. Gold requires trust. Since gold can't transfer immediately.
Now, we're going to talk about weaknesses of gold. Not telling you whether you can or can't have gold. I got gold all over my watch. Okay, you can have gold. Fine, it's good. And if you hodl Bitcoin for 10 years, you can buy all the gold you want, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But we're going to look at some of the key weaknesses as to why gold was fine back in the days of the conquistadors. You want to be a conquistador, go for it, bro. But that's 1600s. We're not in the 1600s. We are in 2024. The whole world is on the internet now. Doesn't it stand to reason that we're going to use internet money? Of course. Well, do you want to use Fed coin or do you want to use digital gold? That's what we're talking about here. So, but what are the problems with actual gold? Well, it's not the era of the conquistadors. I'm sorry, Aviles. I'm sorry. I just went blank. Who's the damn conquistadors? I only know the one now. Balboa. I'm sorry, Balboa. You got a cool handlebar mustache and goatee. But your treasure chest is not for us right now. When we stack some Bitcoin in 10 years, we'll come buy your conquistador treasure chest and your black pearl. We'll own them both.
It requires someone to hold a ledger. And if someone's holding the ledger, we must trust that person. But trust is lost. So if that doesn't work, if we don't go back to commodities, where do we go? Well, the next solution is central bank digital currencies, because that should fix everything, right? Remember, at the BRICS Summit.
Now remember, don't overthink this. We just saw, about an hour ago, multiple articles from the Bank for International Settlements, all of the goober Klaus coin people, they don't want Bitcoin. Why is BlackRock buying Bitcoin? I think BlackRock is buying Bitcoin probably because they thought they could get into this market share to manipulate it. Maybe they thought they could have some controlling power in it. Or they actually understood, oh, this is actually the future of money and we want to get in early. So just because BlackRock's buying Bitcoin does not make Bitcoin bad. Everybody will be buying Bitcoin. By the way, if a entity buying it makes it bad, then everything is bad because evil entities are involved in the dollar and every other thing and gold. So you see how stupid this line of argumentation is. Well, BlackRock's buying it, so therefore it's bad. Well, BlackRock already owns the dollar. Is your money in dollars? So therefore the dollar's bad. You see how stupid this is.
They urged each nation to use their own currencies. So we must need a central bank digital currency. We know there's 131 nations, according to the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, the central bank above all the central banks. There's 131 nations working on their own central bank digital.
That's Quigley language. Did you hear that? That's what we talk about. This lecture is the stuff that we talk about.
Currency right now. I'm guessing most of you guys have heard about them by now. We've been hearing a lot about them. And there's one project in particular that seems very promising for them, and maybe not so promising for us, depending on how you feel about central bank digital currencies, and it's called Project Enbridge. Now, Project Enbridge is a project that's being done by the BIS, by the Bank of International Settlements, in conjunction with China, of course, but also Hong Kong, which is important because it's sort of China's gateway to the financial system to the world. Also Thailand, sort of the manufacturing hub of Asia, and also the UAE, which is important because it's an energy-producing nation in the Mid-East.
No, BlackRock does not have the whole market of Bitcoin. So I don't know what you mean about the whole market. Maybe you guys are talking about something else in the chat. I'm trying to remember. I was listening to this. So if Saylor continues buying what he plans to buy next year, the 40 billion or whatever, or however many billions, I forget the exact numbers. It's like he wants to buy 100. He's basically gonna have 1%, or the U.S. government, if they buy their projected Loomis bill amounts, the government would own 1%, or so, it's something like that. So I think BlackRock has what under. I don't think they have as much as Saylor, right? Let's look at that chart. No, I want this chart right here. Okay, yeah, so I know they're pretty. Where's BlackRock's not even on there? Is that old? Maybe this is old. Let's see when this is from. Okay, so this is 7 months ago. So I wonder if there's a more updated one. 7 months ago, MicroStrategy and the U.S. government were close in terms of holding the most. Where can we find a more updated thing? Let's see. Tools. Past month. So Binance claims that Binance has the most. MicroStrategy is after Grayscale. Binance, BlackRock, Coinbase, Grayscale, MicroStrategy, U.S. government. This is supposed to be pretty up to date. So.
All right, so Project Enbridge basically says, hey, each nation, go ahead and keep your own currency. We'll just turn them into central bank digital currencies, and what we'll do is we'll create a hub that all the central bank digital currencies can come into, and we'll automatically swap them out. This will be much better. Now, this isn't just an idea. This is really happening. As a matter of fact...
Now, this is important because he's talking about what the plan of the legacy elites is to try to compete with something like Bitcoin going into the future. So they want to create this, whatever this Enbridge, Davos, Fed Klaus coin for, we'll just call it Klaus coin.
Can come into and will automatically swap them out. This will be much better. Now, this isn't just an idea. This is really happening. As a matter of fact, almost over $500 billion has already been sent through the Enbridge system. This isn't just an idea, it's happening, and it's happening by some very big, serious players. So this is something that we should be watching out for. Now, if you're not super familiar with what central bank digital currencies are and maybe some problems that they may pose, we can just turn to Europe's, Lagarde. She can tell us directly, except for, actually, I don't have a video. So I'll tell you what she said. In this video, they were asking her about central bank digital currencies, and they asked her about having some freedom to transact. And she said, the European Central Bank, we're considering whether, for very small amounts, anything, $300 or $400, maybe we could give you freedom with $300 or $400, maybe. And then she goes on to say, but actually, that's pretty problematic, because even if we give you freedom with $100, she said, that could cause a problem. She said, in France,
So you understand the key point here, guys, that he's quoting from Christine Lagarde and the EU and the technocrats talking about the type of Klaus coin that they want. And it's a completely controlled turn off your wallet, shut you down over $200 or $300 system. You understand that? So that's not what Bitcoin is. Do we understand this?
That's what she said. They want to control that. What about the rest? Here, I don't know if you guys seen this guy, the head of the BIS. He was talking about the difference.
Remember the triple chin guy? We covered this many, many times. This triple chin fat dude that said, we will turn off your wallet when you say what we don't like. Okay? That's not Bitcoin. Do you all not get this? Okay, so Bitcoin is decentralized. It is not controlled by a government or a central entity. And while it is true that Bitcoin is semi-private, part of the reason for that is the trust system of the public ledger. Now, the people who try to tell you to buy Monero and all this stuff, they're going to try to tell you that, oh, no, you see, the future currency will be the one that is completely secret. I don't think that's ever going to catch on. It's never going to work. I'm not hating or dissing those people. I understand your logic, your reasoning. But if you had listened to John McAfee when he was telling you that Bitcoin was going to zero and to get Monero, how did that play out for you guys? All you guys that listen to McAfee, when he told you 4 years ago that Bitcoin was going to zero, and by the way, that's when I quit listening to John McAfee because I realized that he's off his rocker. And I'm not hating on him. I'm sure, I think he did some cool stuff. I think he was interesting in a lot of ways. But obviously, when he said Bitcoin's going to zero, and in the comments, people are arguing with me, it's a deep fake. There's like 10 interviews of him saying this at the time. He was wrong. And he told you that everybody will realize that Monero is the true privacy money, and they're all going to dump Bitcoin that's going to zero, and they're going to choose Monero. Well, he was wrong. How did that work out for you guys? I was right. And I don't think the world is going to suddenly dump $2 trillion of Bitcoin and buy Monero. It's just not realistic, guys. I'm sorry. What's crazy? What are you guys talking about?
Between a CBDC and the dollar. He said the difference between a CBDC and $100 is that with $100, we don't know who has it and who they give it to. But with a CBDC, we'll know that. And he said the difference is with a CBDC, we'll have full and total control.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say, too, is as we go into the future, as gigantic entities come into Bitcoin, as more and more nation states buy in and use it as store value and so forth, it will be more and more difficult to track every Bitcoin transaction. So while it's true that in some cases sophisticated tracking can find certain people based on certain things they do for wallets or whatever. So let's say somebody steals, hacks somebody's wallet and they steal a bunch of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin itself has not been hacked, but let's say a wallet gets hacked and somebody steals somebody's Bitcoin, and somebody goes and reports it. There are entities that can watch where the money goes into what wallets, and then if it sits in that wallet or if it goes to an exchange, the authorities can then figure out who's trying to pull the money out from that exchange. So those are some examples to where, yes, it's true that it's semi-private, because in some cases it can be tracked. Or if the Bitcoin was bought, say, via KYC, let's say you filled out the KYC at Coinbase, you bought this Bitcoin, it went into your wallet. Yes, in that case, it could be tracked to you. It doesn't mean that it's all tracked. It doesn't mean that so you see how it's, like what I'm saying, semi-private, depending upon the case and the situation. But in the case of the hacked wallet and the theft, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does not mean, however, that every single Bitcoin transaction is known by the government and they can figure out who you are. So you see, that's not true. So it's semi-private and it's a public ledger. And if you are a criminal enterprise that hacks and steals and whatever, your stolen Bitcoin or crypto will be watched, and they will wait until you take it to some exchange to try to cash out, you see. So in that sense, it's tracked and can be traced. But it is not the case that every transaction has government agents watching and knowing everything that you're doing. That's not true. So you see that there's a trade-off there between having a Monero situation of total privacy, which will likely just get banned everywhere, versus the semi-private public ledger of Bitcoin.
And we'll have the technology to enforce it.
I've always struggled with losing weight and keeping it off, but I felt comfortable with hers. In a month, I've lost over 7 pounds with GLP-1 injections. I'll definitely continue with weight loss by hers.
I'm losing weight
And the final piece is in the UN's goals. They have what's called Sustainable Development Goals. Go to their website on the UN, look at the Sustainable Development Goals, 17 of them. Number 16 is digital IDs. Now, I know that there's a big spectrum probably in ideologies here on what we should be able to do, what we shouldn't be able to do. Obviously, from an American viewpoint, I look at the world probably different than a lot of you. But just ask yourself this question. If I have to ask for permission, if I have to be given permission in order to use money, what if they don't give me the permission? What if they take my permission away? If I have to have permission to get an ID, what if they don't give me the ID? Now, for us in the West, it hasn't really been a problem. But let's say that you're a 13-year-old or 15-year-old kid that was born in Iran and there's sanctions in your country and you're not allowed to join the financial system. As a matter of fact, today in the world, there's over 2 billion adults that don't have access to the financial system. Now, this device right here, this smartphone, has sort of equalized a lot of the world, because anybody in the world can now jump on this, jump on YouTube. We can pretty much learn anything we want. We can meet anybody we need to. We can solve problems. We can do commerce. And this has sort of equalized the world. If, which is going very quickly down this authoritarian path, the Central Bank of Canada came out with new information and said, looks like the people don't want it. We don't see.
Yeah, so keep in mind, CBDCs are fiat. We already know all this on this channel. These don't fix anything. This is all scam, FedCoin. So let's get kind of to the main crux, climax of this lecture.
There's no transparency. We don't know how much money there is, how much debt there is. We don't know what the interest rates are going to be tomorrow. We don't know how much more they're going to print. We have no idea, nor do they even tell us the truth. In the United States in 2008, after the great financial crash, apparently they gave about $1 trillion in stimulus, but in a FOIA request, there's a request for actual information to be released. We found out it was almost 20 trillion over the course of a decade. There's no trust, there's no transparency, so we need a system that's open and transparent. We have another problem that it's controlled by borders. We just talked about the BRICS nations, and they don't want to use this global dollar homogeny. They all want to use their own currencies now. So every nation wants to have their own currency. But how does globalization work in a world where we have all these different monies that are all these different values, and each nation doesn't want to trade? So it's almost like we would need something that would be borderless instead of bordered. Instead of requiring permission to join, instead of...
So I'm just going to read you the comparison chart there. So the fiat CBDC model is endless e-cash money printing of Klaus coin, right? Klaus coin can be inflated to a zillion coins. They control it, and that's the same inflation problem of fiat. Bitcoin has the fixed supply of 21 million. There's no transparency for the fiat CBDC, but in the Bitcoin system, there's the trust based on the open public ledger. The fiat CBDC system is controlled by limited borders and nation states and private bankers. Bitcoin is not controlled by any banking, private, corporate, or state interest. CBDC will be require permission from the central establishment. Bitcoin does not require permission. It is trustless. We must trust the banking elite's ledgers. They are not trustable, and they have full control, and Bitcoin is decentralized. So you see the advantages there. Hopefully that makes it very clear. People are talking about, will they adopt Bitcoin? We already are at... Is no one watching the news? We're at the stage now, guys, where governments are adopting it. Hello. Guys, remember to head over to choq.com, choq.com, to get the best in supplementation. That is the show's sponsor, choq.com, choq.com. You can get the Tomcat Elite. That is what I recommend for guys who want to up their toxic masculinity. Use the promo code J44LIFE, that's JAY44LIFE, to get 44% off. You can cancel at any time, but that promo code does allow you to get it coming on the regular. Null says for $10. Buongiorno, Jay Dyer. I want to wish you and the viewers a good weekend. Please press the like button. The technocrats do not like this channel. Thank you for your videos. Thank you so much, Null. Appreciate that. Anonymous, $20. Jay, do you have the Pulse chain? You should add it to your wallet. Any ETH wallet with ERC tokens got an airdrop. Yeah, I think I got like 40 Pulse chain last year. So yeah, I'm not really into that. Hex or Pulse or anything like that. I mean, I've had like a little bit of it. I think people give me some of that, but appreciate that. Anonymous. All is vanity, $10. Jay, my issue with crypto is that it's a Trojan horse to establish online currencies in which everybody will allow for carnal benefits. Well, I mean, this sounds really spiritual and pious, but if that's really your take, you ought not be on the internet at all. You just sent me a super chat of $10 of eCash, and that, by your line of argumentation, is also a Trojan horse stepping stone gateway drug to CBDC. Again, Bitcoin is not a CBDC. So this is a constant argument I'm hearing from people, which I think is a really dumb argument. No offense to you, all is vanity. I appreciate your $10 super chat, but it's just a really bad argument to say that, oh, they're putting out Bitcoin to get everybody into Bitcoin to then transition you to the CBDC. Nobody who understands Bitcoin is going to go to a CBDC. I mean, it would be like, oh yes, I don't want, thank you for giving me gold. I don't want gold anymore. I want the shit. I want the ball of poop. Thank you. Let me trade my gold for balls of poop. Nobody would do that. Why would anyone trade Bitcoin for a future CBDC? Bitcoin is not a stepping stone to the thing that it's there to destroy. That's a really bad argument. Once it's fully established, what if you need a digital ID to use it? Why would you, if Bitcoin is fully established, the whole ethos of Bitcoin is not having a digital ID. Why would you need a digital ID to use it? You could, guys, please, you need to educate yourself on this. Do you understand right now? Somebody was asking me, you can't buy nothing with Bitcoin. Yes, you can. What are you even talking about? There's a whole app called BitPay. Have you heard of BitPay? No. Oh, no. Well, then why are you arguing with me over this stuff? You don't even know what you're talking about. There's already an app called BitPay. And you can use any crypto, including Bitcoin, which it would be really stupid to buy your groceries with Bitcoin, because $50 a Bitcoin in 5 years might be $500 or $5,000. Why would you buy your groceries with Bitcoin? But it doesn't matter. You can use you could put it into USDC. You could put it into Tether or whatever, which is pegged to the dollar. If you wanted to buy your groceries with Bitcoin, you could do that with BitPay. There's an app called BitPay. Guys, this stuff already exists. So I'm not trying to be mean to you, but you're just showing your ignorance when you say this stuff. I'm not talking to you, all this Vanny. I'm talking about the guy who was telling me the other day, I ain't going to get no Bitcoin because I can't buy my groceries with it. But don't buy your groceries with Bitcoin, first of all. That's really dumb. That'd be like buying your groceries with gold. You don't want to, gold could go up a significant amount, right? Theoretically, let's say for the gold bugs, gold could go up 30% next year. Well, then you bought your groceries with a currency that would be worth 30% more the next year. That would be dumb. But if you had to buy things with crypto, there are apps that allow you to do that. For example, let's look at BitPay. Now you say, this is a gateway to control. This is actually already a thing that people who get debanked can use. Stop being so hard-headed and naive and learn some stuff. For example, people that got debanked, if they had significant crypto holdings, Bitcoin, etc., you could already live from an app like BitPay and your Bitcoin or your crypto. You go into the app and there's all of these gift cards that you could buy with crypto. So no, you don't have to go into Kroger and scan your Bitcoin at the checkout in Kroger. You go into Kroger, you buy a Kroger gift card with BitPay, and you can buy your groceries with crypto. Yes, this already exists. Guys, we're in the future now. Stop with the dumb arguments. Quantum commenter, $5. But Jay, criminals use Bitcoin. Yes, and they use gold, and they use the internet, and they use dollars. So I guess we're going to stop using everything because criminals use them. That's a fallacy. You see, understanding fallacies would help you guys over here. I know he's joking, but DC Woodwork at $3. Thank you so much. Key Largo Boomer, $2. Turn the hands of time. The boom day clock back a notch. That's a old school cringecore. That was before we were even doing cringecore. We were just that was experimental early days of cringecore, and he remembers it. He remembers it. Let's see if we can go back to that. Actually, let's hold off on that. Now, what that's relevant for this Joe Rogan thing that this guy was talking about. Now, this is some tech dude who talked about everybody getting debanked. If you want to watch the whole clip, you can. I'll just play a little bit of it because everybody's talking about this. This got 50 million views over here.
Services. Can you give me an example?
Well, I was gonna say, debanking. This is where a lot of the debanking comes from, is these agencies. So debanking is when you as either a person or your company are literally kicked out of the banking system.
Like they did to Kanye.
Exactly, like they did to Kanye. My partner Ben's father has been debanked.
Really?
We had an employee who...
So in the last several years, many tech people, edgy types, have already been debanked. What do you do if you're debanked? Well, if you had crypto and you had BitPay, you were fine, right? Now, there's going to be other challenges in terms of your business, but I'm saying that making a living, you could have still done it. And you can say, well, but what if the government finds out who you are and they come and they show? You're not going to be able to stop that anyway. What I'm saying is the best that you can do is actually still, with crypto, you could still live. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do we have too many slow boys in the audience? It's too hard to understand what I'm saying? There is no thing that's going to be a silver bullet to fix all your problems in your life. There is no, even if you get gold, the government can take your gold, dude. Yes, anything conceivably can be taken from you. That's not a good objection. If you want to have good objections, bring good objections. Those are not good objections. Those are dumb objections. It could be taken from you. Your life could be taken from you. Anything could be taken from you. So you're not going to use it because it can be taken? That's a stupid objection. But what I'm saying is that in the cases of, let's say that you were running a successful tech company, and let's say you had a debanking event, you know, could you survive? Could you get groceries and buy a car? Yes. With crypto, yes. Through apps like BitPay, you can already do this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But the government can track the app. Yeah, but we're not at the stage where the government's going to come arrest you because you got debanked. That might happen down the road. And there's nothing that's going to fix everything. So you have to choose the things that are the best answers at this time. And there is no better option to what we're talking about than the things we're talking about. I mean, are you going to stash a treasure chest in the woods and draw a treasure map for Jack Sparrow to come help you find in 5 years? Or are you going to just have your seed phrase memorized? Which one is more likely? Which one will work better in today's world? Now, if you want to be practical, if I can use BitPay and walk into Kroger and buy my groceries, and I have a buried treasure chest in the woods full of gold doubloons, can I buy groceries with gold doubloons? No. All you people who want to be practical, the crypto's already more practical than the gold doubloons. Do you remember when... Yeah, exactly. Crypto's been a lifesaver already to plenty of people. Remember when Mark Dice was walking around 10 years ago trying to give people, what was it, like chicken nuggets or a piece of gold? So it was something stupid like that. No, it was like $20 or a silver bar or what? Silver bar or Hershey bar. He did it with gold too, like a gold coin, or maybe it was a silver bar or a Hershey bar. And people didn't know what a silver bar. They didn't even know that it was like what, $50, $100 silver bar. Anyway, so this interview, if you want to watch it, this guy talks about debanking. Now, the funny thing about this guy, whoever this tech dude is, Mark Anderson or whatever, why does he not mention Bitcoin or crypto? I mean, I didn't watch the whole Joe Rogan episode, so maybe he does at some point, but it's like, so he wasted this opportunity, but he never talked about the very thing that would be like a solution. And, the guys over at Swan, actually, they did talk about this. They made a video about this. I'll give it to you. And they actually critiqued this guy that's on Rogan, pointing out that this guy has done some odd things in the past.
Debanking is when you were...
I'm not going to play the whole clip, but here's the Swan video on this guy. You should watch this. I recommend it right there. Yeah, he did it with Silver Bar and Hershey Bar. He did it with, it was an ounce of gold. He's done it a bunch. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Like, people don't even recognize gold anyway, so. See. Now, this I wanted to play because Max talks about when it flips gold. Actually, you guys can go watch this. This is over on one of these Bitcoin channels. And yeah, if we flip silver, it's only a matter of time to flip gold. Now, all you Monero nerds, what likelihood is there that the entire world is going to suddenly dump Bitcoin and then Monero will become a $1 trillion asset? It's not very likely, guys. I'm sorry. So the narrative of extreme privacy is just not enough, I don't think. I'm sorry. Maybe down the road. I mean, Bitcoin's market cap is 2 trillion almost. So I just don't think this narrative is that big of it. It just didn't win out. It's not the story that's going to win, nor does the trade-off of the transaction time or the I can't buy my groceries with it. None of that matters to what Bitcoin became in terms of store value. That's just how it played out. So all the stuff that these people are saying is like the narratives from 3 cycles ago. Well, the future is going to be when we realize Monero's privacy selling point. It's like, the future's already here and it didn't work. So I understand that Andreessen is a crypto guy, and that's the very thing that the Swan video critiques him about. That's why I didn't, but that's probably why he doesn't talk about Bitcoin, is because he's into poop coins. So that would be my guess. I've not followed this guy, so I don't know. But anyway, so there's that. And let's see, we got a few more super chats. Anonymous $5. Here's a genuine question. Is Father Here's a legit priest? Can he perform mass? It sounds like you're a trad cat. So in the Orthodox Church, there's not this notion of performing the mass. So it's like, if he has permission from a bishop, that's how it works in the Orthodox Church. You would have to take that up with him. He made a video that's a 3-hour video about his status. I don't know anything about that. He doesn't seem to be in any jurisdiction. I don't know. You have to ask him about that. Mentally unstable suburban man, $1. Mentally unstable Subaru man, excuse me. We was idiots and shit. Yeah, exactly. You want to go live in an RV? You go for it. Anonymous, $3. I live in my RV. It sucks. It makes sense in my situation. I have a large property. It enables me to live rent free. Yeah, again, there's situations where people can do this and need to do this. Okay. And he says, oh, I'm doing it to pay down debt. Yeah, the point is not that it's always wrong to do this. If you're 20 and you want to live in a van for a year and experience the road and do all that, it makes sense for young people to do that. I don't think it's very wise, because you could use that year to save money and invest, right? But young people do dumb stuff and they don't care and they think, oh, it's not going to matter to me, man. And then when they're 40, they're like, I wish I had invested that year. So you got to learn the hard way. I would say if you're young and you want to do that, do a road trip. Don't do a lifestyle. You don't need to live on the road for a year. Save up and do a road trip if that's what you want to do. But down the road, you're going to wish you had invested. Now, looking back, my 20s, I drank almost every weekend. I wish that I had spent all of that money that I spent on alcohol in my 20s in investing. So do it that way you will. I laugh when I see these morons suggest that living in a van or a cardboard box for your whole life. Yeah, exactly. Why would you? It's just stupid. Subarunistic Mystic 101, $2.06. What is your opinion on Nothing Ever Happens take? I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry. I don't know what Nothing Ever Happens take is. Yeezy baby, $5. I started getting into Bitcoin. Thank you. I used to think it was nothing burger. I heard you talk about it. I'm going to get $50 worth a month. Bitcoin to the moon. Well, again, remember, guys, that, Bitcoin is, again, maybe not for boomers, but for crypto, it's a long-term thing. So, you're not going to see, look, basically, Bitcoin is like on average, a 10x every 5 or 6 years. So, it's good. If you're in that situation, maybe if you're treating it as a savings account, that makes sense. If you're new to this, if you're scared of all this, play around with it. And then if you get more comfortable, I'm not telling you what to do, but this is what happened to me. I played around 2017, got used to it, got comfortable with it, felt confident enough to go all in. And so eventually, you go through that process. Orson smells $1.95. What do you think about the dangers of KYC Bitcoin? I mean, yeah, again, like they enacted the KYC laws for the exchanges, and they tried to do it for wallets and stuff too. And I remember hearing all that like 2 years ago. All the FUD was, oh, once they enact the KYC, everything's going to zero, and that was all stupid FUD. It didn't go to zero. It would be nice if it wasn't that way, but I don't know what to say to that. It doesn't seem to have destroyed. It seemed like, unfortunately, the KYC was necessary for the big adoption, because you would not see big adoption. This is one of the problems with Monero. The institutional sectors were not going to come into Bitcoin without the regulations and the laws and the KYC stuff. That's the trade-off. It would be nice if ideally we had a situation where the money was completely, totally private, but that's not where we are. And we're never going to get to Bitcoin as world reserve currency and Bitcoin being, $1 million, $10 million a coin without these phases and stages. Now, the good news is that Bitcoin will outlast, a lot of the nation states and the bureaucrats. So that's the good news. Ed Flores, $10. Thank you so much, Ed. David, $1. There's a 2017 book I can recommend. Orthodoxy in the Kingdom of Satan. I've read some of that book, maybe half of it. I'm aware of it. Yeah, you can recommend that if you want. Osmo KGB, $25. What is the role anger should play in the life of an Orthodox Christian? I mean, anger is potentially a passion that can lead to sin. David says, be angry and sin not. So not all anger is necessarily sin. But I think we have to be careful and not let our emotions rule us or control us. We have to have self-control. So, anger can easily lead to sin, but it's not necessarily a sin according to King David. We know at one point Jesus gets angry and overturns the tables of the money changers. So sometimes there's a place for anger. Remember that you can get access to my talks over on the website. All the lectures and archives going back many years, 10 years or so worth of talks, information, interviews. You can get signed copies of my books, Red Book, and others. Meta-narratives are a little bit back-ordered. I apologize for that. I will get those out pretty soon to people that have ordered and have been waiting on the meta-narratives books. Just give me a little bit more time, and you're going to get your books. I promise. Don't worry. And books make a great Christmas gift. If you're looking for something for your relatives, you can get access at the shop at Jason Ellis to the signed copies of all the books. And Esoteric Hollywood 3 will be out soon, so it's a good time to get Esoteric Hollywood 1 and 2 if you have friends that are into movies. And next, we'll be covering Black Gold Spies, so look for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.